All right. We are rubbing my hands together, ready to rock.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
What's going on? It's time for another episode of Scuttlebutt Radio. And how about this one for nicknames with the amputee and the alien, or the alien and the amputee, whichever sounds better. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. I am the
Yeah, you've
one-armed
been putting some
madman. He's
thoughts.
Hermes. Yeah, I don't know. That one just came to me in the old hot tub the other night.
That's beautiful. I actually really like that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
think
use
it
that as a
works.
part of the taglines for the AI like clips I've been doing.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that a lot.
Amputee and the alien, or alien and the
Yes.
amputees probably sounds better.
Whatever rolls off the tongue easier.
Yeah. Shorter word first, right?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to
Yeah.
another episode, man.
I got my drink is overly full right now.
Yeah, I've been sipping on mine.
Hmm.
Inviting everybody to pull up their chair, pour their glass light, whatever they're smoking on. I
Not
got
bad.
myself just to match you because I know that's what you've been having in the glass the last
are we
couple times.
old-fashioned?
Yep. I
Ooh.
went ahead.
What
went
kind of
ahead and made
whiskey?
one.
What kind of whiskey you rocking?
Old Forester, 1920.
Nice.
Yep.
I picked up. I had to go to the liquor store today and buy some more booze because in California you can't buy booze, or I mean in Idaho you
Idaho.
can't buy booze anywhere but a liquor store. You can't get it at a grocery store or anything like that. So I got my normal Woodford Double Oak, and then I got a bottle of Bullet Rye 20-year or 10-year, which is actually pretty good.
I do like Bullet. That is like one of my old. I always have some of that on the shelf because it's good by itself. It's good in a mixer. It's just like and it's decent price. Like it's always an
Yeah.
old reliable that I always keep there.
Yeah, it was cheaper than my Woodford. The Woodford's pretty expensive, but
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
oh yeah.
I
Well,
need
you
to
pay
I
for-
need to broaden my horizons. They have a whole fucking shelf of whiskey in there, and like I just go for the Woodford because I
Yeah.
like Woodford, but there's so much in there. I should try out different stuff. It's just hard to like try something new when it's like $50.
Yeah. That's I remember crossing that bridge many a times, and even now still do. Especially when somebody gives me a recommendation, I'm like, and then I look at it on the shelf. I'm like, all right. Most of the time, I have learned my lesson now that because I have a palate that I've expanded enough that
Yeah.
I kind of know what I'm already gonna get, sort of like movies and everything.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'm surprised. But
Yeah.
if you wanted to take a picture of the shelf, I'd be like, yeah, take that one, and depending on what you want to get this week versus next week or next month, and those are like the top 5 right there. And they
Excellent.
expand some of those horizons.
So, kind of a callback to our Walmart podcast episode. I have a picture that I sent you in an email.
Yes.
We were going to cover it the other day, but we ended up getting into the Trump thing, so we didn't cover it. But this is a picture of Will Cain on Fox News. Did you notice anything strange about that picture?
So I had a couple things that like popped out at me, especially because you asked,
Yeah.
see if anything sticks out to you. So I was like, okay, well, there's obviously something. And there's the first like glaring thing that you and I don't know if I know I have touched on this previously in episodes, but as someone who does a podcast and knows a little bit about microphones, I feel like that's the most glaring thing.
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the
Because I see
one.
that all the time on
Dude,
video podcasts now.
It's because like, so the corporate news can't figure out why they are losing viewers like crazy.
It must be
and
the
so
microphone.
it's because podcasters have a microphone on their desk. So let's put a microphone on the desk, and he has a fucking lapel mic on his tie. So the microphone's not even turned on.
Nope. I've seen this so many times. I think I noticed it with like Shapiro, like first, where it's like his like prop is his little microphone in front of him, and then I was like, wait a minute, but you have like you said, you have a fucking hot mic, a shirt mic. Like, what are you actually talking about? And then as I like actually looked at it, more and more clips, I was like, it's not even plugged in. That's just a prop mic that he has in front of him, like a fucking security blanket kind of a thing with his fucking microphone. I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, it's
so crazy.
I have been noticing that
they're
more
like,
and more. It's bananas.
we're losing all these views to podcasters, and they're just stealing our audience. Let's put a microphone in. That'll fix everything. It has nothing to do with us being lying mouthpieces for the state.
They probably did like some focus group where like they showed a picture and they were like, here's CNN, here's Joe Rogan, and they just like did it as similar of a picture as they could.
Exactly.
And
What's
people
Joe
were like,
Rogan
"What
have that
this?"
we don't? A microphone.
Exactly. There was probably, I guarantee you, like a focus group, and this tests better with this demographic and this audience, and they whittled it down to it must be the microphone because that's and I would not even I know we're kind of like joking. I would not. That's not a joke. I would not put that past them. That
No.
actually happened. That was a meeting that happened for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
absolutely. That was a big meeting. There was
Yeah.
a meeting before a meeting on that
Exactly.
meeting, and then there was another meeting after the meeting to kind of make sure that the meeting went right.
Right.
And then
And then a meeting
HR had to
about that.
view the meeting to make sure
Yep.
that nobody got out of bounds.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And can we save that clips of those meetings for future notes and whatnot?
Yeah,
Send an email.
exactly. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's so funny. And
Bureaucracy.
speaking of Fox News, I saw a clip today where they are reporting that Iran is going to use kamikaze dolphins with mines strapped to them to take out ships in the Strait of Hormuz, which is
All right.
it's so funny because like they actually think people are going to believe this shit first
Yeah.
off, which is just crazy. And the fact like it's on Twitter and like the tweet that saw was like, does anybody really buy this propaganda anymore? And then right underneath it, there was a clip like a collab of all the different times that they've used this exact piece of propaganda with different countries: North Korea, Russia, now Iran.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I mean, what's fucked up about as we're like again just joking. I also don't put it past like the CIA to have some. I can't remember the operation
It's
name,
like,
but they
why
basically
are
had
you going to train dolphins to fucking take out ships when you have missiles?
no. Well, again, I agree. I think anybody with a normal like
Or you could
that
just put
lives
a
in the real
mine on
world.
a buoy underwater. It's just,
We
it's
live in the
so
real world,
stupid.
Nick. Though, like we live in the real world where
Where
I can't remember
dolphins
the
don't have laser beams strapped to their heads.
yeah. No, there was an operation, legit an operation. I mean, there's countless that you could point to, but one I just actually was reminded of was where we wanted to spy in like Soviet Russia,
Uh-huh.
in like these consulates. And apparently there was like a big stray cat like community in that area that they were like, oh, if we just stick microphones on
On the
these cats
cats.
and like yeah, so it was like a high energy like broadcast, like antenna, a two-way antenna, so they could pick
6G
up the
strapped
microphone
to a cat.
and they spent I don't know however many millions, and the first cat that they like quote unquote deployed back out got ran over, and they're like, oh shit, what a waste of money. And like that is quintessential a summary. Now, why I say it's funny that we're joking about this, but I wouldn't put it past anybody or the CIA to strap fucking mines to dolphins and try to train them is because there is no now to your point.
And
It's
maybe
probably
that's why they're
propaganda.
saying Iran's doing it, because we're
Yeah,
doing it.
because we're doing exactly. I wouldn't put it past them to create a fake story so that they can justify, which is most likely what's happening, justify the where the money is going in these like black sites. So they're like, oh, this actually $5 billion, that was actually because we had this program. It failed, but we had this program where we were going to have dolphin seeking mines in the Hormuz Strait. that wouldn't put it that I wouldn't put that past them. But at the same time, with all the MK Ultra and all of the like black site stories that come out down the line, yeah, there's some psychos out there that just not even had crazy psycho as in like murderer, but like psychos and they're just not on planet Earth, and they
Yeah.
have these fucking ideas and they got $1 billion to spend, and guess what?
Yep.
They're gonna fucking do it. So
Yep.
wouldn't put it past them.
Every time I get like a crazy weird idea for a title of a podcast, I'm like, how is that ever going to be a title of a podcast? But Kamikaze
always-
Dolphins and Cat Spies. That's a great podcast title.
I like that one too. Let me get mine. Gosh dang it.
I always
man.
try and write the names down because by the time the podcast is over, I have no idea what I said
yeah.
for the past 2 hours. So it's
yeah.
hard for me to like come up with a name, and then I have to like listen to it back. So it's like I try and write them down as we go if I can at least. But now I'm
Don't
good.
don't add another
Now I'm
step in the
good. I
editing
don't have to
process.
do it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's another example of the wild times we're living in, man. And
Wild times.
I don't know, man. What do we got latest? Because
I've got the James Comey thing
hell yeah.
is
All right, what do you got?
first on my notes. So, geez, I don't even know like how to start talking about this because it's like I
just
guess I
is
should
ludicrous.
preface this by saying James Comey is a class A scumbag piece of shit who deserves to rot in prison for the rest of his life. Like just as big a piece of shit in the government as you could ever get. The guy framed a sitting president for treason. Like he should get the penalty for treason on this. It is treason. Like he framed somebody for treason. That's treason in my mind. So like first off, like this guy deserves to rot in prison. Secondly, like they already tried this once with him and they like fucked up on a procedural aspect of the case, and maybe they fucked up, maybe they didn't. Like maybe it was just a distraction. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna put you through the ringer here, but don't worry
Mhm.
about it. It's gonna get fucking tossed for some bullshit." So just like kind of go along and play the part, and you can be the hero at the end of it, even though you're not like really vindicated in any way. You're just not going to jail.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like there's that. And now the thing that they decide to get him on is like the most ridiculous, frivolous lawfare you could ever fucking imagine. He posted a picture of seashells arranged in 8647, which is
Ah, I did
you
see
remember that?
this.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So they're arresting him and indicting him for threatening to kill the president. Which
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
and of course, he's such a lying scumbag that he's like, "I didn't even make that shell arrangement. I just found it on the beach and thought it was cool, so I took a picture. I didn't even know what it meant." And it's like, "Fuck you, dude. You made it. Like, it's bullshit, right?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, like, I look at this God, there's so much that I wanna cover on this, so I guess I'll just go with my take on it at first. Like,
Mm.
I think this is a massive distraction that is gonna go absolutely nowhere. So, like, we use the term 86 in restaurants all the time.
Mhm.
86 cheeseburgers. We're out of
Yep.
fucking cheeseburgers for the day. They're
Mhm.
gone. 86 them off the menu. No more cheeseburgers for the day. Hey, our lunch rush is over. 86 the busboy.
Mhm.
86 the busboy does not mean kill the busboy. It means
Sure.
send him home for the day.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
any lawyer with like a decent understanding of this term should be able to argue that no problem. Like I got my law degree watching body cam videos. So like somebody that
Yeah.
went to Yale, one of the 18 lawyers from Yale that's defending him should have no problem like getting this thrown out
You
immediately.
think. You'd think, right?
You would think. So, like, that's kind of where I'm at with, like, this thing is a massive fucking distraction.
Sure.
Um, so, like, I was scanning over Twitter, like, looking at this because, like, at first I was like, "Fuck yeah, send this motherfucker to jail." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
I look at it and I'm like, "God damn it, like, this is just stupid," you know?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I saw on Twitter was somebody was like, well, Jack Posobiec tweeted the exact same thing about Joe Biden. He tweeted a picture of like 8646. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, well, that's fucking interesting because I bet Jack Posobiec's tweeting his fucking ass off about this, right? So I go on to Jack Posobiec's Twitter site and like he's arguing, well, it's what is he even saying? He's basically saying like he did this to promote a book about presidential assassinations. So like this is a big deal. He was promoting a book about assassinations. He's dog whistling that there's going to be an assassination, blah blah blah. So of course he doesn't say anything about the one that he sent. And
Mhm.
I'm guessing, okay, well he's arguing mine was just a joke, and his was advertising for a book about political assassinations. I shit you not. You go onto the into the info of Jack Posobiec's Twitter page, you click on the Amazon link, and it takes you to the book Bulletproof: The Truth About the Assassination Attempts on Donald Trump.
Mm.
So he's
Shocker.
doing the exact fucking same thing.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
tweet that he makes is an advertisement for his book.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, is that again back to is this surprising? Like you're saying that you
No,
see the writing on the wall for the
it's
shit
a
that we keep.
distraction to get us off of the Iran war,
Yeah. I mean,
to throw
well,
MAGA some red meat. Let's get some wins before the midterm.
I couldn't agree more. I like, yeah, I think we have the same take on this because
It's just
I mean,
such an
again,
easy
it's like,
take to come up with. It's
yeah,
like,
it's like it's textbook. We've seen it again. If you've been paying half attention in the last even 10 years, yeah, yeah, this is textbook. So as someone who saw like the infancy of Twitter, where it was
yeah.
like it was basically just a live stream for crazy shit around the world, kind of like a news live stream thing. To what it is now, yeah, this is like textbook. You could see the breadcrumbs to what it is now. I just wonder how many people. I don't know.
Put it
I feel
together.
like a lot of
Dude,
people
like,
are noticing
there
things like
was a
this though now.
decent amount of people that were like, "This is stupid. It's never gonna
Yeah.
go anywhere. Like, he's not going to jail. Calm the fuck down." And of course, like all the MAGA dick riders are just like, "This is the greatest thing ever. He's going to prison for the rest of his life." Blah 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 blah. And like, I actually have a tweet from a guy named Viva Fry, who's like he's like a he's like a lawyer from Canada, so already it's like, "Fuck you, dude. You don't even live in a free country." And, like, I guess
You
he
don't even
lives
go
in
here.
like, he was good on COVID, and he was good during the trucker, strike up
Sure.
in Canada, but, like, you're a fucking
Well, nobody's gonna have
Canadian.
a flawless
Yeah,
record
you're a
regard
Canadian still,
you got that against you.
calm the fuck down, Canada boy. And so he tweeted this: "If you deny Comey was making a threat, you're an idiot. A dishonest idiot." The Instagram post was immediately followed by a picture of 8647 in the description for his new book. Oh, is the description of his new book, which reads as follows: blah, 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 blah. Like,
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
what is it? Blah, 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 blah. Garcia believed Buchanan went far from beyond the protection of the First Amendment, blah, blah, blah. Is that not clear enough? Comey is literally telling you what he is doing, and people are somehow pretending it's not what he was doing. How stupid or dishonest can people possibly be? It's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is so stupid. Like, I, I, I would never hire you as a fucking lawyer. Like,
Yeah.
after reading this, it's just, I don't even want to go into the entire thing because it's just basically telling us that we're idiots because we don't know the law and we're not lawyers and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, I've seen this shit before. Like, we know what's going to happen. He's going to walk.
Yeah.
And, like, even if they did get him on something like this, like, you're still not getting him for what he actually did, for
Yeah.
what he did that mattered.
The
Russiagate
substance of everything,
was a
really.
distraction that took up the entire first Trump administration. It handcuffed him to his desk. Like, they
Yeah.
tried to get the guy framed for treason. It was ridiculous. And the fact that he has, like, been free for the past year is fucking unbelievable to me.
Yeah. Well, it leads me into into another like topic that I had for this week's episode. Because the fucking lawyer had mentioned, oh, this goes past like First Amendment, blah blah blah. This goes, and I've seen. I don't know if you're now. This is gonna definitely be one of the I don't even know, like not pressure points, but like this is gonna hit some Karens. This is gonna some feathers are gonna pop out as soon as
Perfect.
I say this fucking name. So I can't wait.
Perfect.
Um, um, I saw that Kick, which I didn't know was a huge thing still, or like a live stream thing still, but
Kike?
apparently, yeah, people still like make money off of it, I guess. But
I watch a predator catch guy on Kick, and he always calls it Kike in his emails. Live on Kike.
I mean, I didn't, this was a blind spot, okay?
Yeah.
And the internet is huge, so I love that I have these blind spots
Sure.
that can pop up and intrigue me, right? And one of them, which I also didn't know was really a thing, and now that I've subsequently gone down this rabbit hole, really in the last like few days, was this Chud the Builder guy.
Oh,
You know who I'm talking about?
yeah, dude. I saw some of his videos today.
Okay, so
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
two
on
things.
board.
So two things here. A, is he flooding your timeline too? Is this like a recent thing that now
Absolutely. Oh,
he's
yeah.
getting the Streisand effect thing, and now he's
Uh-huh.
becoming a thing? Okay, okay. So I think we're on the same board
I
in
saw at
terms.
least 2 of his videos today.
Bro, it's every other video is completely unrelated to
Mhm.
anything that I'm looking at on my timeline, and then the next subsequent video that like Twitter will just pop up to you is his video.
Yeah,
So
I let my videos run from time to time. Most of the time, I just get fight videos and then
yeah,
like cop videos, and then this guy.
cop videos is a big one, yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently, the algorithm now is pushing him.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I don't know what's happening behind the background, in the background here. But secondary question here.
He could be in the
What?
CIA for sure.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I was not.
Are you
gonna go
familiar
down
with a guy named
conspiracy.
Paul Miller?
Don't
He
jog my memory.
dresses up as the Joker, and he does the same thing as Chud
Oh
the
yeah,
Builder.
the dude, the New York accent dude. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've gotten his video. Like, they're not as much anymore, but I got tons and tons of his videos for a really long time, and I think that guy could definitely be a Fed. He looks like a Fed without his makeup on.
I haven't seen enough of it too,
Yeah.
but my conspiracy brain was like kind of like popping where I was like, why is the algorithm giving this to me, and then
Mhm.
why is it at this specific time? That again, now why I say this is a slight tangent, but why I brought up like the First Amendment, phrase or terminology that Canadian lawyer brought up
Mhm.
is I have always, and I have stuck by this, and I've even had like arguments offline on the show. Even I wouldn't say lost friends, but like had issues with people that I am friends with, and where we just don't see eye to eye, and where we're like, yeah, this is a disagreement. And I've always stood firm on the free speech absolutist,
Mhm.
like side of the house. That's why a lot of the show, why it's a lot of the reason why my show exists. And we've had this conversation where it's like, oh, well, you shouldn't be allowed to yell fire in the crowded theater. I still stand by, no, you should. All right. Fuck you when it comes to words.
All
Fuck
day.
you. All right. Now there is this weird like now line that I've seen become highlighted here with this Chud the Builder guy. Now again, I had no idea who he was. I had no idea that he was apparently notorious and that he had his level of like fame or interest or whatever you want to call it, and that he's been doing this for a while. But
Infamy,
there's the word I'm looking for exactly. But it definitely has highlighted where now again, I'm sorry, Karen's out there. Sorry, not sorry. I'm a fan of the guy. I don't think I'm gonna.
I think it's great.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to. I
Ugga
would love to
booga,
talk to him.
Ugga
Sure,
booga.
Again, I'm not going to agree with everybody's methodology. I'll just say that first and foremost in terms of like how I conduct and prefer to like articulate my thoughts. Just everybody has their own like mannerisms and how we go about things. And just because I will say that first and foremost that mine are different than his, I fully support even if his objective isn't as earnest as he claims it is or as I hope it is, even if it's 100% because he wants to rile people up, I think he's doing a very productive thing here. And because if I'm again, I've already prerequisite all the legal whatever I got to say beforehand. Absolutely, him losing his kick, whatever. Now this is the
I didn't know he lost his kicks.
That's where it started coming onto my timeline. Yeah, he got like what's the word? Deplatformed.
I saw that one of the videos I saw today, he got handcuffed for pepper spraying a chick.
And he ended up released because I ended up seeing
I
going
didn't
down
see
that
the
same
end
rabbit
of
hole.
it. They only had it up until
they released him because the
he
cops
didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, the cops who reviewed the footage because he had it all right there was like, yeah, actually that's called self-defense, and they released him and he drove away, and they still detained the other ones. Now
he could have beat the shit out of that woman if he wanted to.
I mean, again, de-escalation without.
I'm not saying that he should have, but he could have.
Right.
He would have been justified in doing so. It would have been a bad look and maybe not the best thing to do, like beating the shit out of a woman when you could just kind of shove her off. But like she gave him every avenue available to get her ass. Women are so stupid like that. I saw a video today of this woman getting knocked out by a security guard, and then she woke up and went after the security guard again. It's like that guy outweighs you by 100 pounds. What do you think you're gonna do on the second time after you got knocked out?
Yeah, back to the idea of like how we all conduct ourselves. I completely agree. I do say I find it like not even admirable, but he has a lot of restraint considering he knows what he's doing and he knows what is the most likely response, which is why I say it's
kind of
very
a First Amendment audit in a lot of ways.
Oh, it absolutely is, and it's
and again, I'm not a fan of auditors going after citizens, like where they go and stand in front of a coffee shop or stand in front of a church. Like I saw a guy doing an audit at a church today. It's like, no. Audits are made for like governments,
the police.
You go after the governments, weapons contractors all fucking day, government contractors, but like stay away from normal people. But in this case of Chud the Builder guy, I think it's a useful use of a First Amendment audit because people think that word is fucking outlawed, and it's not. We're Americans. We can say whatever the fuck we want.
I wholeheartedly, as I have taken my oath, fully support someone exercising said constitutional right, an inalienable God-given right for speech, words out of your mouth. And then I just really enjoy the conversation that has sprouted around it, and I'm just like picking like each like bit that I can. Now again, everybody's gonna say, oh well, he's just like rage farming and engagement, blah blah blah. And
the guy's got balls. I'll give him that.
Thank you.
The guy's got fucking balls because like he's doing a very dangerous thing.
Absolutely. Which is why I say I kind of like commend his restraint a lot of times. It's like he knows exactly what he's doing. You can tell that he knows that much, and he knows that the response he has to be prepared for, which is highlighting the same thing. I mean, Morpheus has brought it up on our show a couple times. If we were to get doxxed, or if people were, because again, like it's not like I'm in a fucking fortress here. Yeah, exactly. It's not like it wouldn't be impossible for those that have the skills and the means to do so. And Morpheus always like kind of pushed a trump card, like a bluff card, because he was like, that would 100% vindicate and prove our point if we were doxxed, or if like the military or the government came after us for the one thing that we're trying to exercise and do it anonymously. We're using anonymity as the tool for doing, exercising said right, which is already highlighting the issue that we find to be an issue. him being the exact I feel like he's using a very similar methodology, which I absolutely respect and like commend, because he knows that it's a trigger, you know, that it's going to create violence. And the fact that he knows that going into it, and we all know that going into it, highlights the fact that we all just sort of accepted that as part of society, despite us all, you know, even when he starts the conversation, hey, you guys are free speech, right? We're all on the same field here of free speech, right? Free speech, free
Mhm.
speech. And then boom, drops the fucking nuke, and they're like, whoa, whoa. And then it is just such a clear like highlight and judo move there of just like, all right, now here's the actual like you said,
Mhm.
here's the actual audit
Here's
of
the
it.
test.
Yeah. And it's like, actually, it doesn't appear that. And across the board, we as a society, at least Western society, any quote unquote free speech perpetuating, you know, ethos of in the Western society that we enjoy, all claim that same thing of like,
Mhm.
no, it's just not, you know, not free from consequence, or no, you can't say this because we've all agreed like there's a social contract or whatever.
I
And
hate
it's like,
that social
well,
contract
again,
bullshit.
even if I grant all of that, where does that still leave us? Does that leave us with the quote unquote, there's not consequences to actions? Well, then the same consequences, like the lady who got maced, or the lady who gets
Mhm.
knocked out, or God forbid, somebody who gets killed from a self defense. Like if you were pushing violence out, we need to have a highlight to show, just because you are upset from somebody saying something does not mean that that upset crosses the violence physical like line. I think that is a huge highlight that I again that I would like to commend, and that I didn't know was part of the conversation. Again, we all kind of like take it for granted, but I've always said, yeah, if you're going to that, if you're crossing that level of, you know, physical violence, to Chud's point, why he like, hey, don't do it. No, like they're all like, this is, I'm just doing a metaphorical line, but if you cross it, now we're in a physical,
Mhm.
you know, realm. We're in a physical line. I do commend that, like very clear, very like black and white, objective. There's no, you can't argue that point, and he absolutely knows that he is right in
Yep.
doing so. So again, whether he has malicious intent, whether he's pharma, you know, engaging, or rage farm or whatever, the world we currently live in, this is an absolute product that I am grateful to have now
Yeah.
seen and be made aware of. Like this is, say what you will about anything. Guess what? We live in a fucking internet age. We have to, you know, everybody engages with the rage, you know, fucking content. Let's just call it what it is, unless the world changes overnight and we stop doing that. And everybody who's getting upset about words being said stops engaging with it. This is the world we fucking live in. And he is fucking capitalizing on it, making a great point doing so. And like I said, regardless of his actual intent, I think just by mere conversation that we're having from his
Mhm.
actions is worthwhile.
Yeah.
I was completely unaware of him, and I really hope. I'm curious what's
I
going
hope
to
he's
happen out of
making
this
some
with
money
his.
too. Like
He was apparently on
people
Kick.
should be
Yeah,
paying him money to do that because it
he,
needs to be
apparently he
done.
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently he
Which
was,
is
and
why
which
he
is
was taken
why
off.
that's where I was gonna like end and like hand the conversation or the topic over to you. Is like,
Yeah.
what do you think what do you think needs to be done now? I mean, I don't think that's justified necessarily, but at the
Rumble.
same time,
He could do
Kick
Rumble,
is a private
you
entity,
know?
so they can decide that that's not what
Yeah,
they
but
want on their. I mean,
it's fucking pussy ass shit.
I agree, but like if I was like, I have a website, if Chud wants to host over my
Yeah.
website, we'll figure that out, man. But like, what do you think? What do you think should be done, and what do you think he's
Well,
like? Where do you see this going?
hopefully the market responds to this, and there are other places where you can stream. You know,
Yeah.
like the predator catchers that I watch, a lot of them have a really hard time putting their videos on YouTube for many
Hmm.
different reasons. YouTube protects pedophiles, like it's the bottom line. Like it's
Seems
just
to
an absolute joke. So they use locals, which is another cuck that I don't like's website. What's his name? Ruben. Um,
Dave
Dave
Rubin?
Rubin, yeah, that faggot. I hate that guy. I hate that guy. He's a liberal and he's bringing his liberal bullshit into conservatism. And like, I hate watch his short videos every once in a while just because I want to hear what dumb fucking take he has.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
it's
Yeah, I'm
just
familiar with
I
him.
hate
Yeah,
that
for sure.
fucking guy. I really hate that fucking guy. But his website does allow these predator catchers to stream, you know,
Mm,
so that's an option. So like hope, you know, Rumble's an option. Hopefully the market responds
yeah.
and, you know, somebody from Rumble reaches out and says, "Hey, look, we'll make you a dedicated stream here to where like
Yeah.
you'll have a guy on the phone if there's a problem and you know we'll put your videos up in the rankings when you're doing them and you know
Mhm.
there's enough like there's enough other options right now to where it's not a death nail, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
10 years ago, if you got kicked off of YouTube, you were fucked. There was
Yeah.
just nothing you could do. Even during
Mhm.
COVID, if you got kicked off of YouTube, you were fucked. and there's
Mhm.
nothing you could do really. Like
Mhm.
Rumble wasn't big back then. There just wasn't anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
X is another thing. He could stream live on X. Alex Jones, had to shut down InfoWars last week, and he's going to be doing his show on X because
Yeah.
why not?
I
You know,
I wonder though, I wonder because as positive as I would say I have had in terms of my experience on X prior Twitter, I can't get over saying
I
X.
know.
Now it's coming into my lexicon more and
Yeah.
more because people are using it more and more
I
ubiquitously.
call
But
it X, but I also call them tweets.
yeah, yeah, well, that will never change. There's no way. What do you call a post? Like on
A
X, it's called a
post,
post.
I
No,
guess.
there's
I
no
don't
fucking
know.
way. It's called a
Yeah,
tweet.
it's a
It's
tweet.
called a tweet. But as positive as experience as I have, I wonder, like I have seen, I like with the whole Kanye stuff, I have seen it not be as hardlined and absolutist as
Mhm.
we were led to believe, or at
No,
least
it's
as
not.
Musk, wanted me
But
or
we're
wanted
seeing
us to
his
believe.
videos on there, so, like, at least it's not,
Yeah, we are,
down
but
ranking the videos and
because you can't
making
follow
shadow
every
banning
account.
and making it impossible to see his shit. Like, he's going viral all the time. Like,
Right,
there's
right.
there's no way that you're gonna see multiple of his videos on the day if X has got their thumb on the scales and not allowing him to, like, put out his content. There is
But still,
another point that I wanted to bring up with this.
yeah.
If you got anything else on streaming
No, no,
sites,
no.
go ahead.
We're just
Okay.
we're
Okay.
talking.
One of my least favorite laws in America is disorderly conduct. And I
Hmm.
would imagine at some point he's going to get arrested for disorderly conduct, which to me is just, it's an anti-American catch-all that you can really like bust anybody for anything on.
Yeah, no,
Like
yeah.
and just the fact that it's called disorderly conduct is a subjective term. It's disorderly to who?
Hmm.
Who
Hmm.
decides what is disorderly and was it the cop that's on scene?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
cops will arrest people for disorderly conduct when there's no fucking victim. There's nobody
yeah.
around. You're out in the middle of nowhere. You're on a traffic stop and you're yelling and screaming at the cop and they go, "You're under arrest for disorderly conduct." It's like, well, there's nobody fucking around.
Hmm.
So, like, who's the victim here? And a cop can't be the victim of disorderly conduct. And a lot of times they'll go up to a person after they're, fighting or arguing with somebody and go, "Were you offended by what he said?" And they'll go,
Hmm.
yeah, because you answered yes to whatever a fucking cop says all the times. And now all of a sudden this person's going to jail because you said you were offended by somebody saying fuck, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It happens in airports all the time. People get fucking pissed off at the gate attendants who are rude and,
Hmm.
like just condescending and you get angry. They're delaying your flight 6 fucking hours. You've been sitting there all night. And now this
Hmm.
rude cunt at the fucking booth at the airport is just like treating you like shit and you tell her to
Yeah,
go fuck herself. And now all of a sudden you're in jail for disorderly conduct, which
yeah.
is
No,
just ridiculous.
no.
Kick them off the airline if you don't want to deal with them. It's fine. You're a public entity, kind of,
Yeah.
but like to just arrest somebody for swearing in public, I think is one of the most un-American things you could possibly do. I remember I was watching a cop video recently where some guy was going off on cops. He was pissed off and like I don't even remember if he was justified in his anger or not. Like to me most of the time they're justified in their anger because these people are pieces of shit a lot of the time. And somebody's like, "You should arrest him for that." And the cop goes, "Well, unfortunately it's not illegal to swear in America." Unfortunately?
Yeah, like he'd
Like,
like it to
what are
be.
you talking about? Like, I thought you took an oath to fucking defend the First Amendment at all costs with your life, with your fucking weapons. Like, that is
We
your
know that.
job is to defend our rights. And unfortunately, I can't arrest this guy for swearing. So in your world, you would be able to arrest people for swearing because that's what you do. You're an
Yeah.
authoritarian piece of shit and you just want to arrest people. You just want to fight with people. You just want to shoot someone. Like it's just like anybody with that mentality has no business being a fucking cop. And I would imagine it's a good majority, if not most of them, feel that way. That
Yeah.
they should be able to arrest people for more. Like it's amazing sometimes. Like I'll watch a video I saw a video today where cop goes up to this woman's window. He goes, license and registration, proof of insurance. She goes, "Okay, why did you pull me over? I'll tell you after you give me your license insurance." And they go back and forth and back and forth. And finally, he rips her out of the car and arrests her. It's like, dude, just tell her what you pulled her over for.
Hmm.
Like, what's the
Yeah.
fucking problem? De escalate the situation. You're
De-escalation. Yeah, for
acting
sure.
like a
Yeah.
child. Both of you are acting like children, but like, just tell her. Like, what's
Yeah.
the problem here?
So,
And you got all these fucking bootlickers in the comments like, oh, you should have fucking tased her. It's like,
oh, Jesus
Jesus
Christ.
Christ, dude. Just tell her why you pulled her over. You were speeding. How hard
Yeah.
is that? Why do you
Just say-
have to have your stuff first? Just
to your to the point of auditors though too, because I often will see, like, I don't know, what's the percentage of people who are in those videos, like the lady, like you said, they're both acting like children. It's like, why are you making this whole interaction? We already know that he has, as a cop, has the upper hand in terms of
Yeah.
just like, now again, I'm
power
steel manning.
dynamics.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just steel manning right now, but it's like, if we already know you're coming into the situation disadvantaged, this is a gun to a knife fight or whatever, then why are you, again, what percentage of like intelligence do you think most of those people possess, like above, a 100 IQ, for those people who are like, yeah, but why'd
These
you pull me
people
over?
were both
Yeah, but
80s, the cop and the woman.
so then, like, is it again, like, is it any surprise? It's like, why make a situation that I agree with you shouldn't be the situation? Like, you and I in principle will agree there. But at the same time, I'm not going to be able to fix that situation in this exact moment by causing it, causing more, strife or issue for the cop. Like, if he's already a fucking power hungry, whatever, my question of him, even though I'm principally right, is not going to solve. Like, that's just a logical, like, calculation I do personally, right? And if you're and then if you're already passing that threshold and you are not like intelligent enough or equipped enough informationally to combat the officer, then what the fuck are you doing other than like asking for a bad situation to get a lot
And
worse
dude,
in that
she
specific
had her
situation?
license, registration, and insurance in her hand.
I agree. So fucking tell her. What
Just
are you
tell
doing?
her, and she'll
At the
hand it
same time,
over.
just fucking hand it over and then, go and become a lawyer or something, or
Yeah,
start a
and
fucking
then, like,
pledge to
if I'm in
change
her
these
position,
policies.
I'm not gonna argue with the guy. He clearly wants to arrest me, so I'm
Yeah,
just gonna give him the shit and fucking
exactly.
file a complaint on him later. But
Exactly. Yeah,
also, like, as the cop, like, don't be an asshole,
I agree. Yeah, I
you
completely agree.
know?
I don't know, man. But again, I don't know, that the Chud the builder thing is an interesting
Yeah, it is.
interesting development that I'm
It's
curious.
very Americana.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
You know, the guy's running
He's
a cowboy
textbook.
hat. He's
Yeah,
got a
he's
fucking
textbook.
country accent. Like, it's very
Yep.
Americana. Looking in
Bravo
there
on the
cheaping
mustache.
out.
Yeah, bravo on the mustache, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for anybody, I know we glossed over it, but for like any casual out there who's unfamiliar, any of the what's I know I'm tangenting a little bit here. What's another like word for casuals that would be Scuttlebutt radio listeners? Because obviously you
Ooh.
have the Scutterbutters and
Ooh.
the casuals that listen to
Well,
mine
so
frequently.
I used to listen to this podcast a lot called No Agenda, and I kind of got off of them because they're very Israel heavy.
Yeah.
But they had a great they don't call their listeners or fans or anything like that. They call them producers because they help, give information for the show, and they, put input into the show. So producers I always thought was a good
Okay,
term
so
for
then producers for the so for you
listeners.
the Scuttlebutt radio producers out there, yeah, I'm curious the where this is going to land, but if you're unfamiliar with the situation, yeah, he likes to drop the N bomb
A
every like
lot.
around the black communities, like in very like textbook, not even danger, but like the response you're going to get.
Oh, it's a
Scenarios, like,
dangerous position he's putting
I think it
himself in,
has for sure. Yeah, I didn't
because
for
like
sure.
there's a real chance that he's gonna get shot or stabbed or jumped.
Which
Like
again would just
I would
fucking
never do what he's doing if I wasn't armed.
it's
Like
it's
I
fuck
would
yeah,
have
yeah.
to be armed to do
Yeah,
that. There's just
yeah.
no
I know he's
question
in
about it.
Florida, so it's like
Is he?
I
I
know he
don't
has a
know. I
stand your
didn't know
ground and
where he
everything.
was, but
Yeah, he's got a stand
he's
your
in an
ground.
area with a lot of that people with complexion around.
It's
And
so it's
and the interesting thing is now the people in the area know him and know
yeah,
what he
for sure.
does. So a lot of times you'll get like blacks that'll come up to him and like take pictures with him and shit because they think it's funny. And
I
like
mean,
that's the way you should react to this. It's
all of
some
it.
white
Yeah,
boy
yeah.
being a fucking he's having a go. It's
Instigator for
fun.
sure.
He's instigating, but like it's funny, and
Yeah,
just shrug it off and go, yeah, well, that happened. I get a picture with the guy.
yeah. He would not
It's
be as famous.
it's an
Yeah,
interesting situation. Like there's nothing that you should
I've seen
fucking
such
that
a
you shouldn't take it so fucking serious. It's a word. Deal with it.
yeah.
You use it all the goddamn time. Not
Yeah.
but like the people
Right.
that he's
I mean,
talking
again,
to.
it's I've had this conversation a couple times on the show. I had at least one or two on the show that was for our Patreon, like exclusive for the after party show. So the casuals, if you want to join that, you can hear the full context. One specific instance I do remember, it wasn't even like, we're not gonna, if you do it, I do it, or this or that. It comes down to, what is your actual moral framework? And
Yeah.
if it is, there's a difference. I mean, I think I talked to Shy when he was in the studio. Like, there is a difference between words are not violence, right? And that whole idea that we currently have in society, words are violence, is why we're finding ourselves in this situation. It is
Mhm.
the root of a lot of that issue, where you conflate things together, where everybody's a Nazi and everything is violence and everything is the end of the world. That is that conflation of actual reality that we all share, that we have a shared experience of, is not like comparable. If I punch you in
Yeah.
the face, that is a different thing than if I
Mhm.
say something to your face.
Sticks
I'm
and
sorry.
stones, right? Like we learned
And
this as kids, and now kids
we
aren't
lo-
learning it anymore.
we
Now
lost it. Yeah,
words are violence.
somewhere along the way we lost it, and so we would not find ourselves here. To your point, yeah, if there's an instigator, a white boy instigator out there, and you're like, I had somebody on the show that was like, yeah, this is where my feeling lies with that, and this is why blah 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 blah. And I'm like, absolutely understand. You sound like a very reasonable guy. How many people on whatever issue, on all sides of whatever issue, how many people are doing what we're doing here? And he's like, yeah, that's definitely a low percentage. I'm like, that's an issue then. That's where we need to highlight said
Yeah.
issue, so that that's not the normal response, which is violence. No,
Mhm.
that's not how this should work.
Yep.
And that's again what we hope to highlight with this. So again, not to say that I'm a fan of Chud the Builder, but or at least that I wasn't a fan, but having him now have this Streisand effect or whatever, if this wasn't happening, he didn't pop up on my timeline. I would have no idea who he was, so he would have not made any money and continue going into obscurity. But two, now, just like with the Kirk situation, just like with the Fuentes situation, like, you're kind of making these people into bigger deals,
Yeah.
and I'm now coming and be like, you know what? They got a point.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? They're now again, just because I'm not gonna agree with everything, just like I don't think anybody agrees with everything hope say. I said not everybody has a flawless track record. Guess what? When it comes to this free speech, issue, principally, I'm 100% with this
Yeah.
Chut. I forget his real name. It's like Daniel
I
or
don't know what
Dakota
it
or some
is
shit like
either.
that.
I wouldn't have
But
known. I saw his name today on like one of the videos that had his name in it. So I wouldn't even have known his
yeah,
name until
yeah,
today. Like I've
same.
been seeing his content for a couple months, but it's interesting
Damn.
that you bring up Fuentes because another video that I saw earlier today was Tucker Carlson doing an interview with the New York Times, which I don't know why he even did that interview. Like it's
Mm.
beneath you. Don't sink down to their level and don't put up with their bullshit. Like fuck them.
Yeah,
They
but
you don't
highlight it
need to
though.
platform the New York Times right now, Tucker. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, but highlighting them, they can just.
the lady that was interviewing and was like admonishing him for platforming Nick Fuentes, which is ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
Nick Fuentes is huge. He didn't need Tucker's help to be huge. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And he asks her like, who do you think is a more reprehensible and like immoral person? Ted Cruz or Nick Fuentes? And she's like, oh, Nick Fuentes. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like Ted Cruz gets people killed every
Yeah,
day. He wants
the
to
axis of
nuke
power.
a country, like this is crazy. Like all he does with his entire fucking life is get people killed. And you think that this guy who says bad words that you don't like is more reprehensible than somebody who is responsible for the deaths of innocent children? Like, get a
Conflating them.
life. What is wrong with you, woman?
100%. That's to the point of why would Tucker accept that interview,
Yeah,
to highlight that exact like
I
flaw and
guess.
reasoning.
Yeah.
And if anybody was on the fence of like Carlson or mainstream media, or weren't aware of either of them, similar like I wasn't Fuentes or Builder or whoever, you see something like that where they just completely like quote unquote own the opposite side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely highlights of like, I mean, I don't like this, or I wouldn't say that, or I don't agree with this, but on that point, you fucking nailed it, man.
Yeah.
And
And
that
I've
all of a
got I've
sudden,
got another direction to go with that too. That's
yeah,
something that I've noticed for the last couple weeks. It's funny, but first, but while we're on the free speech topic, I had this question while you were kind of talking about like your podcast and doxing. So, do you have to like keep your podcast on the DL at work? Like
of course.
you have to, right?
Yep.
Because I would imagine that your commanding officer would probably not be happy with the podcast that you do for any reason, or somebody
Yeah.
within the command structure. So that must be a difficult thing where you can't even tell like the people closest to you at work every day that you do this.
Of course, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't. I was thinking actually recently about that. That it kind of sucks in that I never got that initial like support or bump
Sure.
from like the moms, the aunts, the friends, the colleagues, kind of a thing. That some people do, or at least that does help some people. But at the same time, I was like, but I can be proud of every like number of
Yeah.
casual or every scutterbutter out there because like yeah and one of the first arguments I ever gave in a lot of the initial interviews to people of like why would you want to be anonymous, like what are you afraid of and like what are you hiding, yada yada. It's like people often say that online individuals will hide behind anonymity so they can say the craziest things. Like
Mhm.
that's a lot of people's experience online. And I'm like, I get that and I hear that, but I believe it's the exact opposite. Because if I see an anonymous account and I look through their tweets, or their fucking videos, or anything else, the only thing that I have to judge them on is the merit of whatever it is that they're doing or
Mhm.
saying. And that's to me speaks a lot louder volumes about the individuals online that I interact with. And I hope, and I think this is proof of concept, does for myself. If the only thing you know about me is my thoughts, my voice, like
Mhm.
the interviews, the
And for the
words, the
people out
things.
there, I've never even seen your face. So like
Yeah.
we've done a lot of these now and I haven't seen your face before.
And I would like to, not be out of step here. Like to think we're friends.
Yeah.
We
Oh, I
I,
consider us friends for sure.
I really enjoy the conversations. I think intellectually it's very stimulating and is
Mhm.
very, cordial, friendly, all of the, and again, we're not going to see eye to eye on everything, but that's what you have to base me on as a person, as an
Mhm.
entity
Your character
is
rather than what you look
character.
like.
Yeah, exactly. So nobody can have these preconceived notions of X, Y, or Z. Nobody can have these, oh, well, he's my friend or he's my colleague, so therefore I'm going to listen to it and then I'm
Yeah.
going to get offended or whatever. Like you don't have any of that with the podcast being is. So is it hard? Not necessarily. I kind of got over that initial like,
Mhm.
whatever thought process. But at the same time, just like Fight Club,
It must make
obviously
it
I
difficult in some circumstances where it's like, "Hey, I can't go to dinner tonight because I've got this thing that I can't tell you about, and I've gotta
yes,
lie to
yes.
you about what I'm actually doing."
Yeah. It's usually lies by omission,
Yeah.
and my wife luckily is very understanding about things like that now, or she's known me throughout it all, but
Mhm.
it'll often be so like again, why I brought Fight Club up as an example is oftentimes if I'm with a coworker and I'm like, because I've had them on the show,
Mhm.
I'll be like, yeah, you know what, this, that, the other will talk, and we'll talk very similar to you and I are talking. But once we pass like that threshold, similar to like if it was a Fuentes episode and people are like, oh, I feel a certain kind of way and
Mhm.
you don't want to offend anybody at work. I'll be like, yeah, well, anytime you want to like come over for a whiskey, anytime like I host a poker night pretty much like, every weekend. If you ever want to come over for
How do
like
you keep your studio secret? You just can't
so
show people the house?
well, yeah, it's upstairs, it's behind a closed door, and outside the door is
Do
two sheets
not
of paper.
enter.
um, or excuse me, out there's just the one. I have the other form in here, the NDA in
It's
here.
your secret sex room.
Well, I have a couple rooms, and one of them also stays closed. It's like quote unquote the guest room, and I'm like that one also has like a tattoo studio in it.
Oh,
Like it's a
cool.
whole. It's like half and half, so it doubles, right? If I have a guest over that needs to crash, I take the futon, lay it flat, throw all the toppers and like mattress pad and whatever on top, and then now there's a guest room there. Yeah, it has a bunch of tattoo stuff in there, but that's over on the side. It's not that big a
Man,
deal.
I wanna get more tattoos, but, like, I'd like to get my arm done at some point,
Yeah,
but I've,
yeah,
like,
man.
gone onto the internet and looked at tattoo artists in my area, and I just don't feel like I've found anybody that's good enough that I would let
Yeah,
touch me. When I worked in San Francisco, I, the next door to the bar that I worked at was a tattoo parlor, and one of the waitresses at the place that I worked at was, like, dating one of the tattoo artists, and this guy was just fucking incredible. Like,
yeah.
he turned down Ink Masters because he didn't have the time and just didn't feel like
Good,
it was
good.
necessary. He ended up, like, starting his own, like, shop in Sacramento, and he had to give, like, a year and a half notice at his job because he was booked for so long. And like he did this like style of tattoo that was only popular in Europe at the time, and he was like one of the only people in America that would do it. And like I'll send
Mm,
you his Instagram after. Like the dude is just fucking incredible. And like we grew up in towns like very close to each other. We were the same age. So like I was cool with him. And like
He's
I always
loved.
wanted him to do my work, but like I'm not gonna go to Sacramento to get fucking tattoo work done. I
Not
just
to mention once
and
the
the
demand
price,
hits that
like
level. Yeah,
goddamn,
exactly.
he's expensive. You know what
Because
I
he's, I
mean?
mean, supply and demand here,
Yeah.
guys. And if
Yeah.
he's booked out a
So I
year,
don't know.
like,
I always thought it'd be cool to do like an Android arm on this arm. So like when I wear I used to fuck with people
mm,
where like they'd see my prosthetic hand and they go, "Oh man, that's so cool." And I go, "You think that one's cool?" Like if I had
and then
long
have
sleeves
that
on,
one.
I'd be like, "Look at this one. This one looks
Yeah.
real."
And see how real it looks, and it does everything, perfectly. This other
Yeah.
one's the old model, but this
Hmm.
one, this is
Yeah.
the new.
This is the prototype.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love doing. I've always been like an artist at heart with
Yeah, your
whatever it
art's
is that I'm
cool. I
producing.
use your art for the thumbnail on every episode that we do. It's cool.
Oh, I keep meaning I gotta update all that shit because I've been
Yeah.
this latest place has not been kind to a lot of things here, and I was actually talking to a buddy last night, not to continue tangenting everywhere, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you producers out there, you guys know what we do. You've listened to 5 or 6 of these episodes now.
Yeah.
Um, but I was talking to him the other night, and we stayed up way later than we should have. I'm still recovering from it. And I was like, not only has this and this, not to bitch or whine or complain, but I was like kind of self-reflecting and articulating my time this last year and some change here. And it's not to say that because I've been in dark places before, but not to say the full like I'm depressed, but just reflect on. I was like, yeah, I legitimately like I can see the impact of both in my art and both in, and things that I like my productivity. It like a lot of this is more uphill because I'm very unhappy in this place. I was kind of like reflecting on it, and I was kind of bitching to the wife and just a little bit. She's like, yeah, I mean, you do like complain a lot. And I was like, I don't want to be a complainer, but it's like I don't unless I like articulate it, I don't know how else I can express the feeling of unhappiness that
Yeah.
like deep unhappiness that I have in this place. Like,
Dude,
it is really, it's
that's
not for me. It's
That's
not for me.
funny. So like today I was mowing my lawn. I'm like scratching my arm constantly because I'm all scratched up from doing yard work and I'm itching like a motherfucker. But I was mowing my lawn today and I was just kind of thinking about like the state of the country. And
Yeah.
one of the things like it's interesting when I mow my lawn is like kind of the only time that I'm unplugged completely. I'm not
Mm.
listening to a podcast or music, or I'm not like,
Yeah.
doing a podcast or anything. Like I'm just kind of thinking because my lawnmower is too loud to even have earbuds.
Yeah.
in.
Why
So
even
like
bother? Yeah.
I'm just kind of thinking while I'm out there on the lawnmower. And one of the things I started thinking about was just like how fucked up of a place we are as a country. And like one of the things that came to my mind was you remember like a couple years ago when that song Richmond North of Richmond just like went
Mm-hmm.
fucking viral because
Yeah.
it was just a great like amalgamation of how like fucked up our country is.
Sure.
And like
Yeah.
everything that he sang about in that song is still true today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
It hit a nerve
the
then,
Trump
and
dick riders won't fucking admit it. Like the MAGA loyalists, they'd never admit everything's so much better. But like, dude, it's all the same. Like the
Mhm.
things that he was singing about, inflation, taxation, corruption, Epstein, like none of it has been rectified in any way whatsoever with the Republicans in power. And
Yeah.
it's like I hate this argument. And like I agree that like the Republicans are better than the Democrats right now. And I've got something else on the Democrats that we'll go to in a minute. But
Mhm.
like this was just on my mind today. And like I don't know how we can beat it into right wing America's head that like the Republicans aren't making things any better. Like
Yeah.
nothing is changing. Trump has printed more money than any president in history by a large fucking margin, like including both of his terms. Like the inflation under Biden was going to happen regardless of Biden's monetary policy because Trump printed so much money during COVID and shut down the entire like economy. So like that inflation was baked in. And in a lot of ways, he got lucky that he didn't win a second term because he would have been blamed for all that inflation, rightfully so. You know what I mean?
He didn't help
And now
it,
he
but
has an
certainly
out
didn't.
where he can blame it on
Really.
Bidenflation or Biden. And it's like, I see tweets all the time. Like, oh, I saw something today where it was Jesse Waters talking about the kamikaze dolphins, where he was like, Iran has spent $5 billion on the Strait and they have inflation that would make Biden blush. And it's like, dude, Fox News, leave it to Fox News to just like completely lie about inflation. Like, and don't get me wrong, Biden didn't help inflation in any way. Like, he
Yeah, that's
made
what I was gonna
things
say. Yeah.
so much worse. But like, it was going to happen anyways because
Yeah.
of the things that Trump did,
Yeah. We've been on
And
this
like,
trajectory for
look
a
at what's
while.
happening right now. And I saw an interview with Trump today, or it was a couple days ago actually, where some liberal asked him about gas prices. She's like, gas is $4.30 a gallon right now throughout the country. And he's like, well, Iran's not going to get a nuclear bomb. So there's that, and it's like, fuck your gas prices, fuck your life. I saw another tweet today that said that 70% of farmers in America can't afford to plant crops because prices are so fucking high. People can't transport their livestock, like I've seen tweets where people are like, I can't sell my cattle this year because I don't have the gas money to transport them,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's just an absolute. And I also thought it was funny that like now all of a sudden the liberals care about gas prices.
Hmm. Except in their
and
states.
and I'm pretty sure that like as soon as they get power again, climate change will instantly start destroying the world. So
Yep.
gas
Yep.
prices. I
Yep.
saw an interview with your next governor, Katie Porter, which really got me laughing.
It better fucking not be Katie
Oh, it's
Porter.
gonna be Katie Porter. You better
Jesus
believe
Christ.
it.
No, I hope she. I
Uh,
mean, after that debate, I don't know, but
I don't
go on.
know.
Go
But
on.
anyways, I saw this interview where somebody was asking her about gas prices and she was like, "How are you going to bring down gas prices?" And she goes, "Well, the reason gas prices are so high in California is because we have a special blend that keeps the environment clean and it helps
Hmm.
save people from lung cancer and it lowers the prices of, health care throughout the state." And it's like, so basically you're telling this woman, I'm not going to lower gas prices. That's
100%.
not my game. Like,
Yes.
fuck gas. And then she goes, well, it's also because of Trump's war. And it's like, yeah, but also your fucking gas prices have been high for years. So let's just
Hmm.
not all of a sudden blame it on the Iran war. Like, is it responsible for a hike in gas prices in the last couple months? Absolutely. But is it responsible for the last 10 years that gas has been over $3 or $4 a gallon in that state?
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
like, I just thought it was hilarious that without saying it, she said, like, I'm not going to lower gas prices.
Yeah.
Just,
1,000%.
what a
Yeah. That's
scumbag.
this is why. Yeah. That debate. I have seen
I didn't see
a
it.
large enough response to it that she was certainly not even highlighted as like there was like a couple highlights where they were like, oh, this because a big narrative that I'm seeing push right now is this the Republicans are so they have so much momentum, quote unquote. And again, I've had my thoughts on Bianco and all that, and on being quote unquote
Mhm.
not even a rhino, but not even like I don't know how it is that he's quote unquote Republican or conservative, whatever. That's how far fucking left some of these people are. But out of all the highlights of like each of the candidates, still all of the highlights that I've seen that are supportive of Democrats are at 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 best are like the bottom of the barrel. What they were kind of doing with Kamala, where
Mhm.
it's like, can you believe that she
Great
did?
vibe. She's got a great vibe to her.
Yeah, it was
She's
like,
just
can you
got great
believe that Trump said
vibes.
this? It's like, yeah, but we didn't ask you what Trump said. We asked you
What
what
you're
about
gonna
this
do.
specific statement to Kamala,
Yeah.
and now you're diverting to, well, did you hear that Trump said
Oh,
this? Like, no. That's not what we asked. Go back to. So that's what I've seen a lot of the like narrative of, because I do see that there is a vibe shift. Now I haven't been in this state long enough to like talk educatedly in terms of personal experience
I
here.
lived in that
Um,
state for 25
well, I've
years.
had plenty of
No,
family that does
20,
too
like
that
9
has.
years. It's a
Yeah.
shithole now.
Yeah, it
Like
always
they
yeah,
they
anytime I've
have
been here it is.
destroyed that fucking state. It's sad.
And here we are with such a vibe shift that I have heard enough California. I mean, again, Shy, he lives in LA, and when he was he and I were talking in the studio, he was like, yeah, this is like I'd have to look more into all the candidates. I couldn't tell you necessarily anything, educated about them. That said, we're all sick of the bullshit. We're all sick of
Yeah.
the taxes, the money,
Mhm.
homelessness.
It's the
And so if
most
that's like
beautiful state in the country,
and if
and
that's the
they've
consensus, then
destroyed it.
yeah, I think we're in the tide, and so if they're going to do every possible thing they can, now at face value, let's just assume everything is like wholesome and legal, and there's no corruption or
Mhm.
anything as it relates to elections and everything, right?
Yeah.
That's obviously a given, right? Yeah, exactly. Um, um, they're going to you. It's not any like mystery that they're going to do whatever and anything that they possibly can
Mhm.
to hold
Whatever,
on to
as
that power.
much as they can get away with.
Yeah, and if they're feeling the vibe shift right now, I would not put it past him because that's what I really think Bianco is. I think he's like the allowed version of the vibe shift. I think
I haven't even heard of this person.
he's a sheriff. He's a sheriff here. It has been for a while. I want to say he's like L.A. or Sacramento area.
Is he a Democrat?
No, he's
a
quote unquote.
Republican?
He's a Republican conservative candidate. I think is how they display him as conservative candidate.
Dude, I wouldn't bet my money.
He was all
on
about
on a
transgender. Still
Republican.
talks about like there's not exactly freedom of speech. He's all about like quote unquote. He's pro 2A, but he's all about like every possible like legislation out there to make it
gun
common
control.
sense.
Common sense gun laws.
He's all about that. So I've seen his
He's
track
an
record, and it's not
authoritarian.
vibing with me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just have a hard time believing that they're going to put a Republican in. I have a funny story about the town that I grew up in. I've told this story on the podcast before, but I don't think I've told it to you. So the town that I grew up in, we were on the 101 highway, and when I was a kid, they put in a bypass. The 101 used to run down the boulevard right in front of my house, and dude, like on holiday weekends, it was just a fucking nightmare. So they end up like putting a freeway bypass around the town, which in a lot of ways killed the town because people could just bypass the town and not go and spend money in it. You know what I mean? And so while they were building the bypass, the big thing, you're never going to believe this, Hermes, but they were planning on putting a train from Cloverdale all the way to the Bay Area. Imagine that. They've never talked about that before. So this was in 92? Maybe 93, they built a train station to be the northernmost route of the high-speed rail that was going to go from Cloverdale all the way to Marin, and then you catch a boat in Marin and get San Francisco, and then catch another train or whatever you did to get across the bay. That train station has never had a train pass through it. It's been there since 92 or 93. They've remodeled it multiple times, and right now they use the parking lot for a bus station, and they use the train station for a bathroom for the bus station. Train's never gone through it.
Does not surprise me at all.
In 30 years, a train's never gone through the fucking thing. Not once.
Wasn't that the same I mean, I feel like that's on the same vein, if it's not the same project, of that like quote unquote high speed rail that was supposed to be built here.
That's the one. They've been talking about it since I was a kid. Never gone in.
It's ballooned to what? 120, 125 billion?
Billions of dollars, dude. Dude, so like going through Novato in Northern California, like you go San Francisco, then you go Novato, and then you get into like Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, Cloverdale, where I grew up. It was 2 lanes from like the end of the southern part or northern part of San Francisco through Novato into Santa Rosa. They were expanding that highway, which was like 40 miles for my entire life. They expanded that highway. I don't remember how much the budget started as, but like you would get a construction company that would come in with a low bid, and then they just, it's going to take us longer and we're going to need more money. And pretty soon it cost billions of dollars. It took like 25 years for them to widen this thing to 3 lanes. And by the time they got it widened to 3 lanes, it was still a deadlock traffic every night because 3 lanes wasn't enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, three lanes were going to be enough for the next 2 years after they started the project.
It's just a fucking shithole. Like the town that I grew up in was a normal town. People were normal. It was like a farming, hard worker, like kind of a country style town. 5,000 people, vineyards. Like some of the best wine in the world comes out of that place. It was like I would say a majority conservative town that I grew up in. In the last election, they voted like 95% for Kamala Harris.
Fuck.
Yeah. My mom bought a house in that town when she was 17. She was still in high school when she bought the house. She paid $79,000 for it. Today, it appraises for like $600,000.
Damn, that's conservative. That's like on the low end. If it's only $600K,
it's a shithole tiny little house. It was like a 900 square foot house. It was on like barely any land at all. It's just a shitty little house, built in the 80s. $1 million is
impressive to me here,
and it's worth over $500,000 today.
Jesus
it's crazy.
Christ, yeah, I mean, I mean, there are pockets. Because I have driven through and actually found I won't dox the place because God forbid anybody the word gets out. But there are those towns still, like there was one specifically. I didn't look into like their voting demographic, but I would be hard pressed to say they were voting even purple in terms of some of the stuff I saw. I'm like, what state am I in? I'm not
Yeah.
even on the border of anything. I'm like, what
And
state
this
is
is
this?
kind of like a non-intuitive way of thinking, but what really destroyed Northern California was marijuana becoming legal.
Well, I mean, yeah,
It
money
destroyed
corrupts.
it because everybody that was growing and making money on the side, there's no industry up there. There's no fucking jobs. You only have,
Yeah.
enough work for a few people. You only have so many contractors. You only have so many city workers. And the people who fell through the margins grew marijuana and sold it
Yeah.
on the black market. And as soon as it went legal, now you get these corporate corporate operations that come in and buy up a ton of land and
Yeah.
grow all the weed and undercut the local growers. And now they have to sell their fucking property and move wherever. And rich people come in, scoop it up, and they're liberals,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's just how it kind of went.
Well,
Like the town that I grew up in, they decided to remodel the downtown at one point, and like they put in all these boutique shops selling clothes and expensive coffee shops. They all went out of business.
yeah,
You know,
that was
people
due. Yeah.
didn't, the people that lived there didn't want that. They were trying
Yeah.
to appeal to people to come and visit the town, which
Mhm.
nobody wanted to do because it's not Healdsburg. It's not
Yeah.
It's not Napa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like none of it worked. And it's still just a small town in, the northern end of the Highway 101 where people are struggling, but like none of the people that I grew up with still live there. None of them. Nobody could afford to buy a house there after high school. None of my friends, like
Door to the
almost
country.
no, a couple of the women that married rich still live there. And like a
Mhm.
couple of people that I wasn't really friends with, like got local jobs and were able to
Mhm.
stay there. But like my friend group, the people that I like went to school with and I hung out with and I partied with, none of them live there anymore because they can't afford it, including myself.
Yeah. No, that's again story of the country, man. I I was gonna bring up economics, but
Yeah.
and as I thought about it, I was also like, I think there's a great bridge that we can use for the economics conversation, and that is Spirit Airline.
Oh,
Obviously, I hear you.
absolutely.
Yeah, I've heard you. I trust that you've seen
Oh,
what
yeah.
happened with Spirit in the last like 48 to 72
One of
hours.
my favorite genres of YouTube videos is Spirit Airlines.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a genre, but I am aware of it
Oh,
now.
it's a genre.
Yeah,
It's
I know it now.
absolutely a genre.
I was
And
watching
if
highlight reels of it.
Chud the Builder was there, he'd be having a great time flying Spirit
I
Airlines. Let's just
I have
say
seen the
that.
highlights. Yeah, I have seen those. Yeah,
He would
and
be
again, now it's
arrested for
getting recommended.
disorderly conduct in the airport for
Wow.
sure.
First, yeah. Well,
I'm just glad that the American people didn't have to buy that piece of shit.
well, see, that's the economics that I was going to bring up. Because if you're talking about like people, there's corporations that undercut prices because
Mhm.
they are able to mass produce and bulk buy, and therefore prices go down. And as consumers, let's be honest, I like a lower price. Nine times, at least 75% of the time. Now, I was gonna bring up the economics question of because I was flipping through Wealth of Nations, and I don't want to like misquote or paraphrase here too much here, but like, do you remember the barrels of herring toward like charts and everything? I think we might have brought it up last time or whatnot. Case in point is like it's always that the free market does better, and those that for whatever their incentives are, whatever reason that people have to buy something will reflect correctly. Like they
Mhm.
will stabilize within the market regardless. And so currently a lot of the pressure, and again, as consumers, a majority of us would agree with this, majority of the pressure that we feel because things are unaffordable, because inflation is what it is, the pressure is on affordability. And so therefore we're going to go the more affordable option. Now, we've seen, especially, post like what is that, the 80s timeframe when like China really became like a powerhouse
Mhm.
of infrastructure in terms of manufacturing. We've
World
seen
Trade
quality.
World Trade Organization and all that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Once
I
the
just
quality.
I'm getting low on my drink, so I'm slurring a little bit now. Plus, I have
Hell yeah.
dentures, so it
Hell yeah,
adds
brother.
to the slur.
When that cost to benefit, as long as you're hitting that a certain threshold when it comes to price, because corporations, similar to what we were talking about in the beginning, with like meetings on meetings on meetings, like they've done this, they've done the research group, they've done the study. If gas is this price and it's this quality, people will accept it. If
Mhm.
it's just a little bit above that quality, it's not going to help. If we raise
bottom
the
line.
price equivalent, right? So you have to keep these things in as close a flux as we can, because again, majority of what the market reflects now is price. That is like
And
the
a good
driving factor.
example of that is they still sell premium gas, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
stupid. And some people just buy premium gas because they think they have a new car and they're going to be nice to their car, buy premium
yeah.
gas. It doesn't matter. These cars are formulated for 87.
Well,
Don't
you know
put
what?
premium gas in your fucking cars, idiots.
Yeah. I mean, um, not to argue for the sake of argument. I actually really enjoyed finding out the difference because I didn't know this before because all I drove was like Chevy fucking Malibu or
Mhm.
whatever Impala, and then like a 1980s Ford 250 like diesel. So like
Yeah.
the gas I was putting in, yeah, I was whatever the bottom price was what I was putting in.
Yeah.
When
If
I
you
got
got
my
a hot
Challenger,
rod,
exactly,
you can put premium in it because you're gonna get more octane, more power, more bang for your more fun,
exactly,
you know? But,
exactly.
like,
Well, that's
if you're
that's what I
driving
was
like,
saying.
I drive a Corolla, my
Yeah,
Corolla does not need 89 octane or
yeah,
92
no.
octane. It
But
just
but if
is not
but
gonna do anything for it.
but if Katie has her way and convinces the Karens of the neighborhood that their Corollas will be better for the environment with the premium in there,
Yeah.
boom, that's where that market comes from. And again, it pisses me off that I can't get what I want gas wise here. But again, before I digress
Yeah.
too far, um, the the reflection of price like as such a driving force here. I was gonna bring up like the idea that I've now as I've gotten older, especially because I wouldn't say like I'm a huge quote unquote consumer as it relates to most things. The biggest I'd say that I when I did the math not too long ago that I consume as a consumer is my alcohol, my books. Like my books is
Yeah.
usually like one book a month that I continue to build like the library because it is expensive, the
Yeah.
library of things that I've read.
Oh, it is.
And so because I didn't
I read,
start
like,
this,
3 or 4 a month. It's fucking
yeah,
expensive.
well, not even what I can currently read, but right now I'm still in the process of like backtracking, right? Because like
Uh-huh.
when I was in high school, college, when I was in living at home, I was spoiled in the fact that we had a lot of books that I read growing up. I wouldn't say they're the greatest of all great books, it certainly wasn't, but I had a library that I could sit down and I was definitely in I was abnormal in that sense growing up. When I got to college and then I had to read all of these things and then I started getting interested in things that I wanted to read that were counter, that were in support
Mhm.
of, that expanded my knowledge of certain things. Now fast forward to, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years as an adult in the Navy, like I have a career established, I have, like excess money, I don't have like debt or kids or anything like that. All of a sudden I'm like, oh, I would like to reference or I would like to show someone or I'd like to do this. And that's when I started like buying basically one book that I already read or that I wanted to like repeat, like refresh myself
Mhm.
with another book that I was reading. So I was kind of like doubling up.
Yeah.
And again, I found this,
Do you do like the do
this
you do
master
like
fun
the notes with, like, the little sticky note things where you can,
to
like,
put them in
put
the book to,
on a
yeah,
page so you can
yeah,
I do that with some of the books that I read, like, I have like, some of the climate change books that I've read, I do that
yeah,
in,
yeah.
some of the
Psychology is a big
economics
one.
books,
Yeah,
I'll do
economics,
that
yeah,
in,
exactly.
yeah, because
Yeah, and and it
sometimes you just need a refresher, and then, like, after some time, you'll kind of, like,
you'll be, like,
you'll
vague on,
see it in
like,
a different way. You know what I
mm,
mean? You'll have more
sure,
life
sure.
experience, you'll have more talks on the podcast, and you'll
Yep.
go back and read a passage and go, "Oh, I didn't think about it from this angle when I read it the first time." You know what I mean?
Yes,
So, like,
exactly,
for
exactly.
example, I took my own advice, from the last podcast, and I'm reading another one of the culture books right now, and, oh my god, like, looking at it from the perspective of, like, this is the society that the richest man in the world wants us to live in. It's just horrifying. It's
Yeah,
horrifying. You know, like
yeah,
these people within this book are like everybody's a trust fund baby. They're all
mm,
250-year-old children that just care about fucking and doing drugs and drinking and like it's just it's a nightmare. And like looking at it from a different angle, like I didn't think about it the same way when I read the first couple of books, and, like, this
mhm.
one I'm reading, and I'm just like, "Holy shit. This is fucking horrifying."
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Uh,
And
Spirit
I
Airlines.
never wanna live in a society that he is I'm never going to Mars because I don't wanna live in his society, let's just say that.
Yeah, I often have mixed feelings, and anytime you've seen the like, was it Dunning-Kruger, like, scale, like, you've seen a
I
lot of
always
the
forget what
ideas.
Dunning-Kruger is.
Like how smart you think you are versus how smart you
Okay.
actually are, and like most idiots think they're smarter than they
Yeah,
actually are, so they think they're up here, and then
yeah.
the more that
I
they
think I'm
learn,
right
they
in the middle
realize,
of that.
right? I often like, I don't know if it's like a self confidence thing or what. Like I'll think, yeah, I read this, and I'll like cite something, and then anytime I'm mid conversation, I'm like, make sure you're doing this right. Like I'm always like doubtful. Like are you sure? Are you sure? You're gonna sound stupid. And then anytime that after the fact I'm like, oh, I mixed this and this up, I'm like, you fucking idiot. Like I'm the worst self-talk ever sometimes. But back to Spirit, man. For the economics part of why I even brought this up is what the fuck is going on where the conversation, to your point of distractions earlier, what the fuck is the distraction here where I see two people are like, can you believe that Spirit begged the government to bail them out and the government didn't do them, and now all these passengers are stranded. They have no way to get out.
Yeah,
and so now all these other
blacks
corporations
aren't going to be able to fly anymore.
Well,
it's racist not to bail them out.
Well, yeah. And then Delta is like gouging people for prices because they've seen that there's now this huge opportunity that they're
Spirit
seizing
gouges
on.
people too. You know, I saw a video the other day
yeah.
where some woman got arrested for taking a bag on the plane that she bought a gift in the gift shop, duty-free shop, after she got her boarding pass, and they wanted to charge her $90 for the gift that she bought for her kid.
Not surprising. Economics, supply and demand, the quote unquote free market.
You're already in. You have no choice. You already bought the thing.
That's
so
what
we're gonna fucking.
It was a
$40 gift that she bought for a kid, and they wanted to charge her $90 to bring it on the plane.
Do not get me started on fluids in the fucking airport. God damn it. I don't. Yeah, don't.
And this is like doesn't have anything to do with this, but why do they even have bars in the airport at this point? If you can't drink and go on a plane, why is there a bar there? Because people get arrested all the fucking time for having one too many drinks before they get on a plane. You can drink on the plane, you can drink before you get on the plane, but you can't be drunk on a plane.
Drunk. I mean,
it's ridiculous, and it's a subjective marker that some fucking flight attendant gets to decide that has no experience, like less experience as me as a bartender, like whether this person has had too much to drink or not.
Honestly, I think that's a brilliant fucking not even gray zone. You know, I'm not saying I don't agree that like some fucking Karen flight attendant has a bad day and decides you smell like alcohol, sure.
Yeah.
Gets to have that power. Okay, well, no, fuck you. But I think as far as the airport's concerned, like as someone who can only fly, like my buddy, I don't have like anxiety like crazy or anything like that. But as someone who knows risk, there is a level of anxiety that I have to deal with. And certain things will give me a different, like just a little bit increase.
Like
flying is one of those.
Watching a woman go into the pilot's cabin.
Have you seen that's your pilot's? But that will. I'm not gonna say yay or nay on that one. But yes, Sorry. Exactly. No, you see what I'm saying? So my buddy Morpheus, he has anxiety. He'll admit it, and his threshold for flying is like now he started to like medicate himself like legitimately. And so I'm like, well, that's what alcohol is for. He's like, yeah, that got me by for so long.
Yeah, so you can be fucking ripped on Xanax, but you can't have 3 drinks.
Well, we do both in my house, and we thoroughly believe in airport rules, you know, because if I'm having to quote, you know, like suffer, and I use that term lightly, in this idea of hell that is the airport. Like I was explaining to my in-laws
it's awful.
Recently. Yeah, well, they were talking about going to.
I hate flying.
It's exactly.
Horrible. It's a terrible experience.
What could you point to that is positive? And the only thing I can say is the fucking bar getting Bloody Marys and stuff. Overpriced bar, by the way.
Oh yeah,
let's just say that
$10 Bloody Mary.
Exactly. Let's just say that. But that is, if that's the only thing that's going to get me by. If I didn't have that, I would be in like my calculation would have to be different, you know, because that's like the only thing that I'm like, and again, because it's not like they're letting you take a flask
prosthetic right now, and I don't want to fly to Minnesota to have it built.
Yeah, and that's a fucked up situation that you would have to even make that calculation.
I don't want to deal with
because of how.
I don't want to deal with the travel. I don't want to deal with the airline. I don't want to deal with workers' comp. I don't want to deal with staying in a hotel for a week. I just don't want to deal with it.
See, and when I can, I do drive, and my threshold that most people are like, oh, that's too far, is much, much, much further than most people answer that way. Because flying is that bad for me. Like if I'm doing any flight that's less than like I want to say 6 hours, any flight that's less than 6 hours, I can probably drive that, you know, like 4 to 6 hour window, depending on when I got to be there, what's got to happen. Like I can plan accordingly, and I'd rather drive, even if it's more expensive. I'd rather drive. I fucking the price personally of TSA, of the, you know, idiocy of everything in that place, and then the hassle, the fucking stinky people, the small fucking spaces and seats, the whole buying the ticket, and they watch you shop around, and then like 2 days later they hiked the price because they saw that your cookies are saved, that kind of shit.
Mhm.
Everything about it just is not for me. And again, why I say that where this fucking distraction of this divide online that I'm seeing occur. Everybody's like, what are we doing with these stranded people? That is fucked up. How is it that somebody can shut down, even if they're bankrupt? How is that possible that that's not part of, like, not even like a social contract or agreement, but like, how is that not part of operating procedure? Similar to like when Robinhood didn't have liquidity
Yeah.
and they got sued for it. How the fuck is Spirit operating this level, even if they're at the loss, even if they're going to file for bankruptcy, that isn't part of like the contract that they have,
So wait,
that was allowed to operate
so
that
people
way.
that have bought tickets aren't going to get refunded? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
People
Wow.
are not getting refunded
And
for
they can't
tickets
sue them because they're bankrupt.
because they're already gone. Yeah, they've like dissolved.
Jesus
No, and so there is legitimate people who are stranded. So like let's say they left Idaho, right, and they're going to Florida. They had to stop in
Oh,
Denver.
wow. So it wasn't
or
even like we're going to fly out the people that have finished. We're going to finish the week and
halfway through.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute.
Wow.
This is back to like our previous conversation of like people assume certain things. That was one that I assumed. If you're a company, corporation, whatever, there are certain, like, you have to hit OSHA standards. You have to get certain like permits, so on and so forth. And we're talking about flying, right? That is a life and death situation, which is why pilots have to have so many, supposedly so many hours and certain qualifications. Is guaranteed like start to finish if somebody has started said trip, not a guarantee as part of like the insurance policy. Like, to me, that seems crazy. I was like, so that it's not like I'm saying Big
Wow.
Daddy government step in. I'm just saying
No, but
that was an oversight that I didn't know. I
something
wonder.
tells me that their CEOs aren't forfeiting their fucking paychecks for the last month.
I come on. I'm not even gonna say I doubt that. Come on, come on. Let's be real here. That wasn't even part of the equation. I was
Their higher
describing
level
here.
executives are still going to, there's money in that company still, and it's going to be split up and taken away as they shut the doors. And
they knew if they didn't go
people-
now.
Fuck the people that have tickets already. Screw them. What are they going to do? They're going to sue a broke company. Have at it. We don't have any money to give you.
Yeah, apparently that's the situation. Now I need this, because this just happened in the last, like I said, 2-3 days. I want to say 48 hours this has happened. I'm going into the details and seeing where, like, what are the answers to this? Will people be refunded? What's going to happen to these people who are stuck there? Obviously, they need to figure out what they're doing today, and is an issue for them. I'm curious where all of this is going to lead. I don't want to speak out of turn when this changes or the information
how many
updates.
people fly with no money.
Yeah, that too.
They'll go somewhere and they'll have no fucking money. Like, I see it all the time where like somebody will get too drunk at an airport, they'll get kicked off their flight and they'll go, we're not going to fly this person anymore. And they go, okay, give me my money back. And they go, oh, well, you'll get your refund in 30 days. And they go, well, I don't have any money to buy a new ticket without the refund. It's like, first off, like, that's bullshit. Second of all, like, what the fuck are you doing flying, going on a vacation or going somewhere without any money? Are you crazy?
Majority, I don't know if you've seen this statistic. Majority of people flying are not doing it for vacation. So like at least half, if not like 80% of those you see in the airport are
business,
are commuters. So this is part of their travel commute for X, Y, and Z reason, which shouldn't be shocking to anybody. But at the same time, it is also the tangential statistic there is how many people don't have savings, how many people don't have an operating like normal budget. So
most people don't have the money for an emergency.
Yeah, no. Again, that's over 75% in this country do not have an emergency fund and cannot afford to put away money for an emergency fund. Now,
they can't afford to go to the hospital if they get in a car accident.
A lot of people don't budget correctly, I'll say, but at the same time,
we live in a fucked up country where
this is fucked.
Inflation is fucked, wages are down. Like,
as someone who tries to do this, it is fucked.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like I have done as smart as I could. Could I do more? Right? Could I live in a box eating beans and rice and save everything? Yes. All right. But I've done the calculation on, like cost to benefit, and I've seen too many people die around me for me to be like comfortable doing that and living that way just to die tomorrow. Having said that, I would say I make as smart as financially, like, as smart decisions financially as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Specifically, and I think I'm doing, decently well for my age and for someone in this country alongside. And when I see a lot of my friends who are like, this is how I live, I'm like, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Oh,
I don't
dude,
know how
some of
you
my
live like that. To
friends,
your point, like
oh,
you're just getting on a plane, everything's happy.
cars, motorcycles,
Yeah,
clothes, shoes,
totally fine.
fucking just all kinds of crazy shit that they spend their fucking money on. They're always broke.
Subscriptions
As
to
soon as they get
fucking
some
all of
money,
that.
they're going to the mall or going to
Yep.
fucking D&B and buying new clothes or boots or
Yep.
whatever it
I've had
is.
I've had most of my stuff since I joined the Navy. Like my wife was like, "Why don't you throw these jeans out?" I was like, "Because there's nothing wrong with them."
yeah,
What do you mean? She's like, "They're so old and like they don't fit right and this and that." I
yeah,
was like, "I just bought one more pair of Levi's and that's my extra. I have 5 pairs of pants. How many more
yeah,
jeans do I need? You know?"
yeah,
She's like, "Well, throw this one out, throw this one." And
ugh,
she's always like trying to like update this and update that.
yeah,
And again, she's a woman. I give her credit where it's due. That's the one that she'll admit. She's like, well, this is, and again, but she doesn't drink, so she spends her money there. I
yeah.
spend it on alcohol, so on and so forth. Whatever.
Ugh.
It is what it is. But
I got
spirit
like
is fucking me up in the last couple of days.
a settlement for my workers' comp case after I got
Mhm.
hurt, which was dog shit. Like I got hurt in North Dakota, which is like the worst place in the country to get hurt. So I got
Yeah.
like 100 and something,
Yeah.
160,000, something like that, which is like less than 2 years of wages as a journeyman lineman. So like really just fucking nothing. Here you go, fuck off,
Especially if you were
you know.
staying for 2 more
And
years.
I was smart with it. I bought some Bitcoin. I invested in some other commodities,
Mhm.
gold, silver, did some other things, and like I've like tripled my money since I got that
There you go.
investment. Which like I remember like I did like a financial con like an audit kind of with somebody that I trusted that's like
Mhm.
a good libertarian and knows money and knows the economy and this and that. And like I'm expecting to go in and him being like, oof, type of thing.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
he kind of asked me some questions. How much debt do you have? How many credit cards do you have? I'm like, I have 0 credit cards. I have no debt except for my
Yeah.
house. You own your own car? Yeah. Like, well, you're doing
He's
pretty
like,
good, man. Like
you're
you
above
invest your
50 right
money
now.
and you're going to be doing just fine. And I remember like
Exactly.
getting off of that. I'm like, wow, it's that easy. Just don't spend money.
Well, and don't spend more than you could possibly get. That's the craziest
Yeah.
thing that people don't understand. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to have $20,000 in debt, with a I don't know 10% interest credit card kind of a thing."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Yeah, but I'm going to make $10,000 this year, and
Yeah.
therefore I'm going to put." And
Those are
they
bad
just have this like weird little
calculations.
math that they think that they just did
Yeah.
without doing anything else. And then it's just like, yeah, if I spend 500 today, I know on Friday I'm going to get $1,000, so I'll
Yeah.
pay the 500 back. It's like it's just future
Yeah.
money that I'm just tapping into, kind of thing. I'm like, the amount of idiocy in that statement alone, I
And
can't
things
begin
that
to
can go
describe to you.
wrong that you don't account for,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's
Well,
always
all of it, just
something. It's always a vet bill or, something goes wrong with
yeah,
your house or like I own a house, so like there's always hidden costs within
sure.
houses where things just pop up that you weren't expecting, the year before. But like
Hmm.
I've done well enough with my money that like I rent rooms out in my house. Like I have a 4-bedroom house and I rent 3 of the rooms out. And like
I'm
between
in.
that and my investments, I don't have to work,
Yeah,
which is great. I'm not doing great, like I don't have a ton of money every month,
that is smart
extra
though.
money to spend, but like I don't have to work,
Yeah,
you know?
and that is yeah. And again, back to like your original settlement, your initial investment, your initial piece of capital. What's the percentage of people who take that and do what you did with
Yeah.
it?
Oh, and dude, how many people told me I was crazy for investing in
Oh, in
Bitcoin when
Bitcoin.
it's $20,000. Oh my
N-
God.
fuck
It's never
what
going to go up past that. What are you
sure,
thinking?
sure.
The amount of people that told me I was crazy. Now you look back and you go, oh, that was a smart move. But like at the
Yeah,
time, everybody
yeah,
around you is telling you you're fucking crazy,
yeah. They
except for
did,
people on the internet that you don't know. You know
right?
what I
They did
mean?
to me.
Like,
I was
that's,
because I'm in the same boat, dude.
yeah,
I
it's
get
like,
it. I get
the
it. But at
amount
the
of
same
people that
time,
told me I was fucking crazy and stupid and just all of these things, I
you were
went and
so
I did a financial like consultation with like an investing firm that a family member uses, and I told the guy that I had point 0.7 Bitcoin, and he laughed in my face
because it's not enough, or because what?
because I'm an idiot for having any Bitcoin.
Oh, that's a waste of assets.
Waste of
There,
money.
as he thinks.
This was in like 2019 or 2020, something like
Hmm.
that. So like
Okay.
Bitcoin was still, you know, not mainstream. And now that same company has to tell their investors about Bitcoin. They're
Hmm.
legally obliged to. tell their
because it has a
because
has
of the upside to it. You know what I mean?
it has a
So that
percentage
guy that
gain.
laughed in my face now has to tell his clients about it. Not
I
legally, but like with the
don't you
firm that he
love
works for, I
I
should
love
say.
irony in those. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
love
great.
stuff shit like that. I
Yeah,
love it.
and
I
like
love
all the people that told me I was crazy just don't want to talk about it now.
Yeah, of course.
They'll
Of
never
course. It's
admit
like
that I was right. You know, they'll
this
never
is
admit
this
that they were wrong. They just don't want to talk about it. They'll just
the
go,
same
"Oh,
shit
I
that
don't know anything about that."
same shit that happens with
It's
like
like, "Oh,
conspiracy
you
theories,
didn't
right?
know anything about it years ago when you told me I was fucking crazy."
And but you knew enough to tell me that I was fucking like you were very
Yeah.
adamant about telling me how
I
fucking
had a
crazy
guy
I was,
tell
right?
me this is a family member, tell me the government's gonna make it go away soon. And I go, "Well,
Mm.
what does that even mean? What do you mean
What are you
they're gonna
basing that
make
off
it
of?
go
Where did
away
you
soon? What do you base that off of? Do you know anything about it?"
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
you know,
What
it's gonna be bad for the government. The government
CNN
just
said it.
does whatever they want. And I'm like, dude, it's a distributed network. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So just shut your goddamn mouth and maybe listen to what I have to say. You know?
Yeah. No, I do love those like when
This
they
person was a
when
cop for his whole life, so he just
uh,
has this view that like if the government says no, then it means no. If the
hey,
government wants to do
we're all
something, they're
our
going to do something. They don't have the capacity within
yeah.
their brain to go, "Oh, there's people discovered something and created something that governments can't fucking touch, regardless of if they want to or
Because
not."
they're trying. Boy, are they trying. I don't know, man. The yeah,
Nothing they can
we all gotta
do.
be our
There's nothing
we all
they
gotta
can
be our
do.
pieces.
There's no fucking CEO to throw in jail. There's no
We're
building to go and raid, you know? You're
and
gonna
I
raid every fucking American running a node all at
yeah,
once and
yeah.
still get nothing done because there's nodes running all over the fucking planet right now. Like, there's
Would
nothing they can do.
it would not surprise it wouldn't surprise me they would divert or waste said amounts of resources and funds
Yeah,
trying to do
they
so.
could try all they want, but there's nothing they can do
No,
about
no.
it.
Which is why it's fucking genius, beautiful.
It's great.
It's everything that we hoped it could and
It's
would be.
Austrian economics turned into math and computer code.
You know, and
It's
which is
fucking
why I
beautiful.
also wish there was more of it, more options, and more people were able. You know, we had quite a few crypto like bros on the show early on, and it ended up being one of those things where one of those good ideas gets buried kind of a thing that we often will like, oh well, if you want to discuss about coin and everybody who listens bought it and all of a sudden now you have value this that and I was like I know basic economics. Case in point though, that's where all these shit coins come from. That's where all of
Yeah.
these, rug pulls come from. That's where, like a lot of the negative like
Yeah.
stereotypes and aspects come for the community. And here we are still bitching about, like inflation, and we're still dealing with like the fucking petrodollar like issues. And
Inflation does nothing but help
it's
me.
still,
You know
it
what I
still
mean?
hasn't,
It
yeah.
sucks for like buying groceries and putting
But if
gas in my
everything would
car,
just switch to
but
fucking
all
crypto
of
is my
my
point.
other assets just do nothing but improve through
Yeah,
inflation.
yeah.
Does that mean that I like inflation? No. Like, I think it's fucked up that like the American people are getting raped every day by the government, spending their hard-earned money on war and fucking bullshit that I
Yeah.
don't agree with. But like, it helps me very much.
I just wish like there was a switch, a bait and switch kind of a thing. I wish there was with even if it was just Bitcoin, like everybody is paid rather than the ones and zeros in their imaginary account that most people because like what's the percentage now of people using cash these days? Like it has
Very low.
significantly dropped and it has continued to drop. So that's why they fucking are like, oh yeah, we're not using pennies. We round your fucking totals and
Yeah.
shit like that. Microtransaction, this and that. Everybody basically does ones and zeros that they get on their little screen, so
Yeah.
it's this imaginary. So if everybody was doing that ones and zeros, and rather than it representing these dollars and cents, it fucking had like a Bitcoin value or something, quote unquote tangible, tied to it, crypto related. I think that would be a net positive if there was a way that didn't accompany or wasn't accompanied with all the fucking growing pains. Again, I don't need to tell you, I don't need to tell you all these things, but and I don't
Try
need
not to talk about Bitcoin on the show because I've talked about it so much.
well, it's not even about that. It's like
People just kind of like glaze over if
yeah,
they're
they
not
tune
into
out,
it,
100%.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, if you're interested in it, go listen to Michael Saylor. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, yeah,
Michael
exactly.
Saylor, you listen to an hour interview with Michael Saylor and you'd be like, holy shit, this guy's fucking smart and he knows what he's talking about and this makes sense. Go read the Bitcoin Standard. Like, you don't have to listen to me. I'm an idiot, you know? Like,
Well, but enough of us idiots. Like, I just wish there was a way, you know. Like, I
yeah.
just anytime we start talking about, it, I'm like, God damn it. And
The
even
problem is like I'm willing to admit that I'm an idiot and don't listen to me. Go listen to somebody who
yeah,
really knows
who
what
I
they're
got my
talking about with
information halfway
Bitcoin.
from. Yeah,
And
yeah,
instead of just talking out of your ass when you know absolutely dick shit about it, like at least I know enough to like explain it to the average person in a way that like makes sense.
hmm
And I can give you the pros and cons for why and why not you would want to own some.
yeah.
But like if you really want to hear like down dirty, like deep, this is why it's gonna take over. You just go listen to Michael Saylor, you
hmm
know?
Yeah, exactly. You can point to at least the resource, like you said, that you got
It
your
just
info.
pisses me off where people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about feel like they have to chime in on it.
Dunner Kruger,
When
Dunning
they
Kruger.
don't know anything about it and just think that it's stupid and you're
Yeah.
stupid for owning it. I had a like lunch with a family member a couple years ago, and like I told him I had Bitcoin, and he kind of laughed at me and was like, "Oh, that's stupid." Like,
Mhm.
oh, they're just going to keep making more of it. And I'm like, well, no, there's only 21 million, and like the
It's
last
actually
one
the
is
exact.
going to
Yeah.
get printed in like 100 years from now or something. Oh no, that's not right. And he had to like look it up on his phone, like check to see if I was right or not.
hmm
And then like 2 years later, we had another lunch, and he had forgotten about that conversation completely. And he asked me like where I had my money, and I told him I'd bought some Bitcoin at this price and that price. He's like, "Fuck, that was a good move."
And he forgot the conversation
Yeah,
initially
he
altogether.
completely forgot. And I didn't want to bring it up because at
Yeah,
least he was willing to like change his mind on it.
yeah,
The
yeah.
person that I got in an argument with it at dinner one night, like he's never going to change his mind regardless how high the price goes.
Yeah, man. I don't. Again, it's one of those like frustrating, but stay hopeful kind of situations where it's like,
It's a
here we
long
are.
game,
Fuck it.
man. We're in it for the long haul. This is not something that we're going to win hearts and minds of every person in America in the next 5 years. Like this
Yeah,
is a long game. Most people are never going to have the money to have like a significant amount of their savings in Bitcoin
yeah.
because like you can't take it out
You
and
don't.
buy
Yeah.
shit with it. I mean, you can, but it's not smart and it's not great to do. And like one of the things that like that really annoys me is like people that are willing to hear you out on cryptocurrencies and then they look at Bitcoin and go, "Oh, it's too expensive. I can't buy it. I'm going to buy XRP or some shit
hmm
like I can
hmm
get a bunch of XRP." And it's like, "Yeah, well, like Bitcoin divides down into satoshis. You don't have to buy a whole one. You can buy
Exactly.
as much as you want. And like the price is still going to go up and you're going to get
hmm
that percentage of it as it goes up,
Exactly.
regardless of how much you buy. Like
Exactly.
just because one is cheaper than the other does not mean that that's a good buying decision. I don't own any other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin. I have some money with like a financial guy and
Mhm.
he's got me in some Ethereum and I don't tell him how to do his job.
Yeah.
If like I'm kind of not happy that I'm in Ethereum, to be honest with you, but I'm
Yeah.
still just not going to tell him how to do his job. So
Yeah.
I'll let it stay in there for now, at least. But
You gave him
like
X amount and you looked at it as like
yeah,
expendable at the end of
I
the
look
day.
at it as an insurance policy. In case
Yeah.
something goes wrong, I've got somebody handling a decent
Exactly.
amount of money that is, most of my money's in my own private Bitcoin wallet.
hmm
So,
Yeah, I had to learn while I was explaining this actually this last Friday with a
mhm.
couple of younger dudes, and I was explaining the difference between like this is what a wallet is. This is how I learned that lesson with the whole Robinhood stuff. Like
Yep.
this is X,
You
Y, and
got to
Z.
do some homework. You got to actually put the work in to figure it out. It's not something
hmm
where you can just decide up and, oh, I'm going to buy this. Like you got to actually like put a little bit of legwork in. You got to buy something to get into it. You got to, maybe watch a YouTube video to figure out how to start the fucking
And
thing and
yeah,
get the wallet set up. And
that's
like,
basically
there's,
what I
there's
told him
something
too.
to it. Like
But
it's
yeah,
not just,
he was like
you know,
he's young
I don't know.
enough and he's set enough. I think he's or I don't think he is planning to get out of the military. And basically, he was like, so this is what I got, and I hear like stocks and this and that, and like I just don't know. So I'm just asking you guys like, what'd you do or what would you recommend and blah blah blah. And so my buddy and I we have similar like modes of thinking, whereas my buddy is very much in the rat race of the stock market. He plays and does puts and he does
Well,
options and a lot of
I
those.
don't trade.
I don't either. And so that's so what I was recommending to him. We both agreed like, hey, don't just have your money sitting in a 0% save. Like that is not smart to do with your money. However, I was like, what I think is the next move is slightly different than what my buddy thinks is the next move. So I was like, at the end of the day, what we're both saying is what we have found works or what we have like lessons learned kind of a thing. This is why we have ended up here, and we obviously have like a decade plus on you. So what I would recommend, if I'm going to bare bones this, is do your fucking read. Like, figure out what you want, figure out what you're going to like pursue, and then go and start doing that. And I was like, minimum, you should do it like 6 months, if not a year's worth of like, you know, footwork, and start slowly at the like 6 month mark. And then by the year mark, if you're in the like flow,
average.
yeah, that's all I was saying. I was like, look, I'm not going to tell you this is what you need to do. I'm going to tell you, if I'm going to say this is what you need to do of anything, it's don't fucking listen to me only. Don't fucking listen to my buddy only. Don't watch one YouTube video. Like, do like realize you're gonna have to do some work, and then do the work, and at least after that, the 6 month period, like start seeing what that work looks like. And for me, I lost this way and I won this way. That's what worked for me. My buddy is going to explain
when
this.
When I first got into Bitcoin, it was probably like, you know, like 19,000 or something like that. And I put a couple grand into it, and it immediately went down to like 15.
Yep.
I was like, oh shit. Like, I'm getting fucking wrecked here. Like, I can't lose this money. I don't have a lot of money. So I took it out, and then it immediately went up to like 20.
Yep. And that's a lesson learned.
And then, then a couple months later, I was like, okay, I think because I got in like very raw, you know, like I had heard an interview. I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. I'm going to put some money into it. Then I got out, but my interest didn't go away. And I ended up like doing more research. And within a month or two later, I was like, okay, like I get it now. I'm not going to freak out if it goes down for a couple of days. Like, put the money in. And then like at that time, I just started putting in as much as I had every month.
Yeah, as much as you can.
I possibly could. I was putting it in. And I'm actually kind of bummed that it's sitting at like, what are we at? Like 67, 78 right now. I'm bummed. I thought we were going to see 50. in this bear, I was hoping to see 50. I was hoping to get in early.
Get a little bit extra.
Like, people freak out about volatility, but volatility is your friend. The lower it goes, the better options you've got to get back in. You know, you don't want it to just be sitting at 150K for the foreseeable future. Like, sure, it's great for your bank account now if you're just focused on number on screen. But if you're focused on accumulating Bitcoin, you want it to go as low as it possibly can.
Yeah, because I mean, you really,
and that's the game. Accumulate as much as you possibly can. Don't pay attention to the number on the screen. Just buy up as much as you possibly can. Because, like, dude, 21 million Bitcoin are ever going to be printed. There's more than 21 million millionaires in this country. There's not enough Bitcoin for every millionaire in this country alone to own a single Bitcoin.
Exactly.
This is going to be one of the most massive transformations of wealth in the history of this country.
This is why I like I said, if it would just like the growing pains part of it would just get the fuck over, you know, that would be a blessing in disguise. A lot of people, I just don't. A lot of people don't see that or understand that, I guess. I don't know. Whatever the reason is, I don't know. I'm not going to be arrogant and say I'm smarter than anybody else.
They don't understand basic economics. If people would read Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt, they'd have a much better idea of what's going on.
It's on the required reading list.
On the required reading list. You read the Bitcoin Standard. That should be on the required reading list. I'm not going to have that as but like that's a fucking must read, you know? Like that's a paradigm shifting book where you can kind of like really get an idea of the bullshit that we're living in, and like that there is actually an answer for this shit. Yeah.
The world, man, it is changing, and we must change with it. And I think to close out the change of topic here is to, because I touched my topics. Let me give it to you first before we hit required readings or anything else. Anything that I missed this week? I'm going through my likes here. I really wanted to touch on Spirit. There was a couple other ones, obviously, like you know, Hegseth had a fucking interview. He took a couple things off of the like required shot list, you know, like flu and everything. There was one other one that was interesting to me. I don't know if you saw all the updates in terms of like video footage and info that has come, quote unquote, or lack thereof, info that has come out on the shooting, the Washington correspondent shooting.
I saw that like they're trying to say the guy shot one of the security guards, and it clearly looks like friendly fire.
That's all I was going to ask you. Yeah, that's all I was going to ask you.
Friendly fire to me.
I don't know how they're going to dig their heels in further. If the government is good at anything, it's being wrong and not ever admitting that they are wrong. To this day, there are things that they will never admit to, despite the insurmountable level of evidence, the counter. I think this is probably going to go down in history as one of those where
Yeah.
you see the video
That
and
should
they
be
even
an easy one
released
to
it.
prove. You pull out the guy's fucking vest and he's got one bullet in it and
That
not a slug
that's
or no fucking bird shot or
that
bear shot in it. Like
yeah,
that's
that's where the lack of evidence I was pointing to is
yeah.
like we have this video. They're still adamant, nope, he was shot and this wasn't friendly fire that shot.
They're
It's
so
like,
sick that they'll take a vest and hang it on a fence somewhere and shoot it with a shotgun and then bring it to court and be like, see, he shot him.
see, there it is. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past him either. Yeah, I was just curious if you had seen it, if you had any
Yeah.
alternative or cared or,
I saw another
updated
video
information.
where the guy like went into a room off to the side
Yep.
and some cop followed him in there with a dog and just let him go.
Yeah, that's
And then he ran out afterwards.
it's the same
Great job, guys.
well, no,
Great job.
the dog was like, "Hey, what's up with this
Sniffing
dude?"
at him like, hey, what's going on here? And
Not
the
even
cop's just sitting there with the thumb up his ass. Dur, 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 dur.
he literally took the dog away. He's like, "No, get away from that." Like
Yeah.
and then as he
What the
turned his
fuck are you
back,
doing? Like,
yeah,
why is this guy allowed anywhere near the place without a pass?
again, back to what we were talking about in discussion conversation one when it first came out. Yeah, this seems like one of those. It doesn't. Not all the pieces seem, but at the same time, that's because we're assuming. Logic was involved in all this planning, and most people assume, that the government is more equipped or is less inept than they actually are. When in actuality, it's not.
I will say this: that if this is a real shooting and this guy just lost his mind and decided to go shoot the president and the vice president or whoever he was trying to shoot, I don't know. It would kind of go to prove that like United States colleges are like just ripe for fuckery. You know what I mean? Like this guy was a college professor or some shit like that. So it's like,
I thought he was like a NASA kid.
Yeah, he worked for NASA at one point too, but I heard that he was a college professor. So like, what the fuck is going on in these colleges today to where like you're not getting some crazy asshole from a trailer park that comes in to shoot the president. Somebody from one of the best colleges in California, Caltech.
That is, you know what? I think that is the perfect segue or reason for my required readings. I wasn't I wasn't sure which one I was gonna go. Like this wasn't even on my list. I had a couple in mind that I had written down, but as you just made that point, I'm gonna give a required reading for Thomas Sowell's Inside America's Education. Because that to answer your question, like what the fuck's going on with these colleges?
Yeah.
He very hard-nosed, black and white.
Are going crazy.
Yeah, but there is a very clear start and finish, and there are very clear indications that anytime somebody brings up the education, again, my wife, when she read it, she was like, what about this one? I was like, I told you, like I was complaining about this, and I was like, this is why I wanted you to read this book, because it is one of those like eye-opening, to your point of paradigm shifting like moments. It is so much more clear when you have a vibe or like a gut feeling about something. Like we're all talking about education. Like, education in this country is fucked. It's been fucked for a while. And then you start asking why, and then you can get down all kinds of rabbit holes of this, that, the other. It is so clarifying when you have somebody as articulate and as, back to that old quote of like somebody who doesn't or can't explain something simply, doesn't understand it fully enough, right?
He's one of the good ones.
I can't say enough good things about him. He's one of the
good ones.
I agree.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I mean, Chud would know what you mean by that. I think we all can know what you mean. But he's and so I recommend that because every time somebody when I bring up a stat or something, because again, it's a very thorough book. I can't remember every single page and every single like stat on every single page, but the ones that I do cite, oftentimes would be like somebody will be like, oh, like you can see it click. The one I always go to is the SAT like scores to employment, right? And it's like everybody's like, well, why? To your question, why are these professors? Why are these schools? Why is this happening? And why is like the bar getting lower and lower and lower? I was like, case in point, just like domino effects of anything else, right? Case in point.
The loan system is really the basis of it. Like I think I was talking about this on one of our last shows where like the people that I went to school with were fucking retarded.
Yeah.
And like if you fail those retards, then future retards won't take out loans. So you have to pass those retards.
Well, that is a compounding variable for sure. It is a variable.
But I mean, it's an ideological mess also, but like that's a big component of it is like college used to be for the best of the best. Now it's just for everyone.
But therein lies the presupposition that I think why I say when I give people this like fact you can see their eyes light up when it's just that moment of understanding, because a lot of us know this to already be true, but
Yeah,
few of
you
us
went to
connect the
college,
dots.
you've seen it.
Yeah,
And you're
but few,
not one of those retards. You fucking
yeah.
seen it, you know? Like there's a lot of parents out there, at least when I was growing up, that didn't go to college
Mhm.
and like, you know, worked great jobs, you know,
Yeah.
were linemen, worked for the city, worked for the water department, like were contractors, like had great jobs and made great money. But they got beat over the head by like every intellectual in America saying, you have to send your kid to college. Don't let them break their back like you did, type
Sure.
of thing. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So they don't have the experience in college that we had where they've seen how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
So they're just sending their kids to college expecting to, you know, that the propaganda is going to end up being true to
Hmm.
where like they're going to have a better life because they went to college. And I think especially like for people who haven't gone to college, if you're planning on sending your kid to college, like this would be a great book for them to read. I
Yes.
haven't read this book, but I know Thomas Sowell and like
Hmm.
I know that it's going to be a great and well researched book, and it's going to be, you know,
Hmm.
full of
It is. Yeah.
great
Yeah.
anecdotes and great story. Like he's just a great writer and he's a great mind. So like I would imagine, especially if you haven't gone to college,
Yeah.
like really think twice about it before you send your kid to go figure out what they want to do for four
Yeah.
years.
Give their formative years to this
Yeah.
institution right
I don't
here.
know what I want to do with my life. I'll just go and figure it out for 30 grand a year.
And not even have the environment or potential to figure it out other than open your brain or
Yeah.
open your skull, take out your brain and let them fill it with shit, because
I
that's what's going to happen.
I honestly believe, and this is I told some of my college professors this. You can learn more on podcasts than in college.
If you have what
If
again,
you're listening to the right podcasts,
well, look
if
at
you're
the average
listening to
IQ though
shit
is what I
about
would say.
economics, if you're listening to shit about history, you can learn far more on a podcast to get your general education than you can in a college dorm room.
Yeah,
With,
I agree
you
that
know,
you that
drinking and partying and having sex and doing ecstasy and whatever else you're
hey,
doing.
I mean, not to say that those weren't fun times
Beating
or
the
anything
shit
like
out of
that.
other people and pissing all over them.
No, but
Yeah. It's
the
fun, but you can do that in your hometown. I did it all through high school. I don't need to do it again for 4 more years.
Yeah, well, the stat that I think will hammer the point home
Get
for
a
my
job.
required readings here is again, I say you're saying like get education from podcasts, and I don't disagree with you, but I also think we're kind of like talking in an echo chamber amongst ourselves, because we are able to extract knowledge from various sources, and we know the validity and the like utility of sources, whereas the average person, which is why when they go to college just
You
absorb
can
all the shit, don't have that ability because the average IQ. Now to the stat of Thomas Sowell, that I again why I love the light that people have when they hear it, is the very simple arithmetic again that I know we all know happens, but very few connect all the dots. And Thomas Sowell does that for you in like I want to say like chapter it's pretty early, like chapter 4 to
yeah.
chapter 6. It is the SAT scores and what it equates to in terms of employment. It's the SAT to employment pipeline. So again, everybody there's going to be somebody out there who's like, well, that's racist or that's fucking sexist or that's blah blah blah. Yeah, fuck you, look at the numbers and then fucking argue the numbers, okay?
Yeah.
And guess what? When people talk about like where do women go, where do men go, you know, statistically speaking, why quote unquote there's less females in STEM. Oh, well, that's a sexist issue. We had to put more of them in there. No, it's because women don't generally like to go there.
Personality
A
issue.
100%. And so if you're using that exact example, use that or using that exact example, apply it to SAT to employment, right? And
Yeah.
Sewell does this with teachers because he points to teachers as the foundation of this institution, right? Whether it's college, whether it's high school, all the way down, right? Tenured professors, all these things have the same issue, and that's the foundation. And the foundation is the teachers, the individuals, right? Because what is the threshold off the top of your head to become, you know, to get into, let's say, let's just say the 50% or above medical schools? Like, what is the minimum SAT to get, and then MCAT to get into said school? It's above 1400. Okay, that's what the average. If you want to be competitive, it's about 14. I think the numbers crunch down to 1350. Like, not that this is their threshold where you have to get that in order to get in, but that is statistically who becomes doctors and who become good
How
doctors.
it should be. I want smart people doing
Exactly.
arm
The
surgeries.
problem is the big problem that why he points to teachers as that fundamental like foundational issue is that the threshold statistically in order to become a successful teacher is not 1400 on your SAT. It's like 7.
Not.
Yeah.
7. Holy crap.
So think about that. Think about that. If
And a
you're
lot of
average,
people that like end up being a college professor have never had a real job. They went to school and they liked going to school, so they stayed in school for the rest of their life.
exactly.
They're
I mean, those
fucking
that is
stupid.
another variable that he points to. Yeah, like the environment, the little
Yeah.
pocket.
They're
What's he call it?
children. They've never had a real job. They don't know how they could never survive in a free market. Like
Yeah,
they're just losers who couldn't leave school.
academic bubbles, man. And if you think about, again, if you're getting a 1400, not that this is sexist or racist or anything else, but if you get a 1400 or more on your fucking SAT, the likelihood that you're going to want to, your own personal opinion and position and desire, if you're getting a 1400, your desire is more likely going to lean STEM. That's just the facts of fucking statistics, how it
Yeah.
works.
How
And
you
if
think?
you're less than 900, facts of the matter is, you know where you're almost guaranteed to end up is academia. So is it
And
any
you think that you're a whole lot smarter than you actually are.
and if the results are any
And I
indication of what that
guarantee that most
breeds,
of those people lie about what they got on it.
yeah, the facts don't lie, guys. Facts don't care about your feelings or whatever they
Oh,
say.
I got a 1200 on my SAT. Meanwhile, they got a 750.
I'll say I'll pull it up. The difference
I
is
didn't
somebody.
take an SAT. I never
Yeah.
took it because I had no desire to go to college.
I mean,
It's
I
just
was
the
in
way
I was in a pipeline. That's a conversation for a different day. But
Sure.
case in point is, the results. You know, the facts do not care. Proof is in the pudding, so to speak. And here we are. If there's any question, I always point to that one as like I easily took that along with like another handful of like points that he makes as like the clearest, simplest distillation of issues that we see now. And anybody who's like, I agree that the system is fucked up. I agree that the professors are like brainwashing kids, and the professors themselves are, extremists and ideological, like, like puppets. Why is that kind of a thing? You connect the dots. You already know, yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably because people are stupid. You know that it's probably because there's like echo chambers and environment. But if you connect all these little dots, the easiest one, the first one to point to that Thomas Sowell points as like a foundational issue is let's call a spade a spade. Most of them are fucking stupid, and they go
Yeah.
in and they have this protected safety space
Midwit.
of stupidity.
Yeah,
Sorry,
they're midwits.
sorry,
Sure.
is what it
Yeah.
is.
I I went to high school in California, and I don't know if they still give out this test, but like when I was a sophomore, they decided we're going to give the California exit exam, and it's going to be another test that they have to take to see if they've learned everything they need to know in order to go to college. So basically, like if you can pass this test, you understand high school. I
Hmm.
passed the test as a sophomore, and I still had to do 2 more years of fucking high school.
Yep, that's yeah, story of my life, bro. I told you I
I
tested
tried to
out of
go
high
in
school.
homeschool at one point, and they were like, "No." And my parents didn't know any better, so they're like, "Well, we tried."
Yeah. Hey, you turned out all right. I think you're a
Yeah,
cool dude, and I think we're having a
yeah,
great conversation.
yeah.
What's
And like I've said this many times on the podcast, but I didn't learn shit in college. I cheated my way through.
I learned that the things I did learn in college were not anything that I should have been learning in college. We'll just say that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I learned that professors are pervs. This is basically what I
Yeah.
learned
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure.
there.
Yeah,
But
dude. Even high school teachers are pervs. Like some
yeah.
of my high school teachers were. One of my high school teachers married one of his students like 2 years after she graduated,
I mean,
and I
god
like
damn it.
the guy a lot.
Honestly, more power to him. I know that's gonna not people are not gonna like that take, but more
Yeah.
power to him.
But you got to
She was
wonder what was
18.
happening. You got to wonder what was happening when she was.
Oh, of course. That's why people frown upon these things. Is like, oh, you
She
got to
was his
wonder.
PA, and they spent a lot of time together.
You want to color me shocked? You want to see my shocked face? I'm not going
Yeah.
to show you it, but you know what it looks like.
I'll give 2 podcast recommendations before I do my book
Yeah.
recommendation. But like, if you want to learn about markets and history and just the world around you, the Tom Woods show and the Scott Horton show. Scott Horton's like the best, you know, like what's the geopolitical mind in the world. He's just fucking incredible. And then Tom Woods is like a PhD history from Harvard, which he's a libertarian. He's great on Austrian economics. He has a wide range of interviews on his show. Most of them are only like half hour to an hour. And yeah, just 2 great podcasts where you can learn more about the world around you than you could ever learn in college with just like an hour or 2 a week.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You said
Like,
Tom Woods
and
was the
yeah,
first?
Tom Woods and Scott Horton. Tom Woods show.
I know Horton. I don't
He's
know
great.
Woods.
Yeah, Tom Woods is fucking great. He's just really smart. great show. Like he has a wide range of interviews where like Scott Horton just does like war and international politics and shit like that. And like for people who aren't into this shit, like you might listen to Scott Horton for a show and be like, I have no idea what's going on because you're kind of like stepping into a season of a show halfway through, you know? So it's kind of hard to like figure out what's going on, but you kind of have to listen for a little while. And then it's like, oh, okay, I can kind of start connecting the dots after a while.
That's called enlightenment.
Yeah. And it's tough at first because like there's a lot going on, you know.
Yeah.
Who are the mullahs and the fucking Shiites and the, you know, all these fucking different people in the Middle East. I can't keep it all straight. What's he even talking about? And after a while, it's like, oh, yeah, I remember those people did this. And then we gave them money for that. And we said we defeated them. And now they're running Syria. And like all
and then
that.
we armed the rebels that were
Yeah,
them
exactly.
because it helped us
Like it's just all a big clusterfuck with reoccurring characters. It's a show.
Yep. I love
All
that.
right. So required reading for the week. I think you'd like this one. It's a book called Blind Sight.
I
have you read that one?
Yeah, I have. I love that one,
dude,
actually.
Blind Sight. Such a great book.
Peter
Watts.
Watts. Yep.
Peter Watts. Just a great fucking book. It's hard sci-fi. The guy's like a biologist of some kind. And like he's got vampires, he's got AI, and just some like truly terrifying aliens that like it kind of explores like whether intelligent or not intelligence, but whether like consciousness is like necessary for intelligence. And just truly a terrifying book. Like he's not like boo scary, like something's gonna jump out at you, but like the philosophical
the implications of it are terrifying.
It's like, whoa, this is fucking creepy. I've read that book twice because like the first time
I should reread it.
It was just so much. And then like the second time I kind of knew what was going to happen. So I was like listening to it more like
acutely,
and kind of like thinking about it more than like just what's happening next. And like, dude, just an awesome fucking book. The vampire angle that he does is just crazy. Like if you think that like vampires couldn't be explained by nature, you are wrong.
Yeah.
Like, he explains how vampires could exist. And it's fucking creepy. And like I actually the second time I read it, I equated vampires to politicians.
Like getting the infected. The corruption infection.
You
I
know?
think you actually gave me the recommendation years ago. And why
I really?
I think I because as you're describing the vampire portion, I was like, I swear either you or somebody on the show, I'm gonna put my chips in this basket. I think it was you,
Probably.
But this was like the first time that we ever talked. I think is when you gave that to me because I read it in probably 21-ish time frame.
Yeah.
Like I remember where I was at when I read it. And I put it on the shelf not too long ago actually.
Such a great book.
Yeah, it absolutely. And then I was thinking like, yeah, maybe I should reread it now because I went kind of down a rabbit hole with him, and I don't want to ruin it for any of the producers, casuals, or anybody out there.
I've written a ton of books.
Yeah, I definitely. I would agree that start with that one and then go down the Watts rabbit hole because it is a fun one. It is really good. He's such a good writer. It's sci-fi specifically, like to your point. I'd put him honestly. Once you say that, and I was just talking to my in-laws about Weir because they were big fans of Hail Mary, the latest, because they read it and then my father-in-law was like, yeah, I loved the audiobook, like the guy just nailed it, did such a good job. I was like, I absolutely agree. And I was thinking to myself, but of my favorite sci-fi writers, you know, like because like people will cite Isaac Asimov, and I'm like, as a writer, I wouldn't. Like I agree, I like his stuff, and I was influenced a lot by him as a kid. But if you revisit some of it, I'm like, I wouldn't just give that to somebody or all, you know. But I would give Peter Watts to everyone.
Like into audiobooks, like books back then weren't written for audio. We're like now,
like H.G. Wells and whatnot,
written for audio. You know, especially with the best writers, they have it in their head for sure. That's going to be doing the book for them, so they write characters specifically for that narrator, and the pacing and kind of like the way they tell the story is kind of designed more for audio than even, you know, like visual at this point. And like, I think that it's added an extra dimension, and like the pacing is just so much different in a modern sci-fi book than it is in Asimov.
Sure.
Asimov
exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a rough read.
It can be. That's why
Foundation is a rough read. you
Yeah,
know?
Foundation. If
And
you ever
like,
do Robot Visions, like that's a whole
yeah,
fucking thing.
yeah. And like, I actually thought that the Apple version of Foundation was pretty good.
Mm,
Like, it didn't quite stick with the story all that much. Like, it's the same basic story. They've kind of changed a lot, and they did a lot of like, race swapping and gender
sure,
swapping
sure.
because it's Hollywood and that's what they do.
I've been
But
meaning to watch it for a
it's
while. I
pretty
keep getting it
good. It's
recommended.
entertaining for sure. Like,
Yeah,
there's some good aspects. Like, it has the bare bones of the story, but it's kind of modernized in a
sure,
way.
sure.
Like, and for people who've read old sci-fi and new sci-fi, it's hard to describe like what the difference really is, but
Yeah,
if you know.
yeah, you
Type of
feel it.
thing.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
But yeah,
I
dude,
know.
Peter Watt's Blind Sight, like such a fucking badass book.
Absolutely. I did actually really, really enjoy that because I don't remember. I
Some of
think
the
it was
scariest aliens like in sci-fi.
yeah, yeah. In
Oh, and actually there's a somebody did like it's only like 5 or 10 minutes on YouTube. They did like a CGI version of it.
oh, like the
So
full
check
summary.
that out. Yeah.
Oh
It's
shit.
not like the full summary. It's like kind of from the encounter on, but you get to
Oh,
like see the scramblers and you get
oh,
to like see the vampire,
fuck
you
yeah.
know?
Hell yeah.
I saw the guy who did District 9. I don't remember his name right now.
Blomkamp, Neil
Yeah,
Blomkamp.
Blomkamp. So he bought the rights to Blindsight
Mm.
because he liked the vampire character
Yes,
so
I
much
do remember hearing this
that
too.
he wanted to do something with that
Isn't it still
character.
in limbo and he's like
I
projected like
don't
it's
know.
still gonna
I don't know.
hopefully come
I
out?
check out IMDb every once in a while to see if he's making a vampire film. I don't think he's going to make Blindsight.
God damn
Like,
it.
that would be great if he did because it's such a great
I
book
swear
and a
didn't he
cool
make a
story.
short or something based off that
I
during
heard
COVID?
it on, I don't know, maybe he's the one that made that. That dude,
No, I think it
and if
was.
for anybody who hasn't seen Oates Studios
Yes,
Camps
yes.
short films on YouTube, oh, dude, they do
Fucking
that one
tastic.
with the reptilian aliens.
The
It's fucking
Spires. Yes.
dynamite.
Oh God. I
That
agree.
guy's a great director.
I agree. Yeah, I wish he was a
District
little less
9 is one of
hampered.
my favorite modern sci-fi movies for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think like
It's
of all
great.
his
The
studio.
first time I watched it, I got a bootleg version and
Mm.
they didn't have the subtitles for the aliens, and I liked it better that way.
Oh, you just did it like raw. You just did it raw,
Yeah.
just like
I didn't know
as
that there was
lost as
supposed to
anybody else
be
was. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know there was supposed to be subtitles on it because they just weren't on the bootleg that I had.
Isn't
And
that funny
it
how
was
art can
better
do
that way
that?
because you knew what was going on. And like Vicus kind of like explains what they're saying, like
Yeah,
why
you get
you
enough of
need
the
it.
info anyways.
So
Yeah.
you like get it,
Yeah.
but you don't like it, and it just makes it better because you're kind of like more there with Vicus rather than like fully understanding what's going on as a
Yeah.
narrator, you know?
I can't remember. I'm blanking on like what it was because it's just like one of those. Maybe I'm also having a
Yeah.
little bit too much alcohol, but I did pour it heavy. I'm blanking on what it was, but I had a very similar experience not too long ago with a movie that now not that I would ever pirate anything because the open seas are illegal, but
Somebody else showed me that pirate movie.
of course, my buddy Swim, someone who isn't me, is back on the high seas, is what we'll say, because I was just bitching to my mom, actually. I was like, excuse me, my buddy Swim was bitching to my mom. I was like, do not pay. Do not pay anymore. There is no reason. They hike it, they lower the quality. It's just there. It's unequivocally, objectively a poorer experience. Cancel your memberships, guys, and there is a plethora of better options that are 100% free out there.
I don't know how
Piracy is back and is back
I've
with a
never gotten
vengeance.
into it before, so like I don't know how to do it.
The pirate. Oh, brother. Okay, let me text it. I'll just text you a
Yeah,
couple
you'll
links.
text me
It's not
some
hard.
links.
It's not hard. And you have Apple product. Even if you don't have
Yeah,
Apple
I
products,
have
it's
Apple
easy.
products.
I got you. I got you. I got
Yeah.
you. Because Apple has at least enough. Not even security. What's the word? Like functionality as it relates
Mhm.
to like website experiences. Where our pop-up blockers are pretty easy, and if you just have the right browser, which it's now on iOS, it has been for a
Okay.
while, it's already built in. So it's a app for the browser that you download, boom, site, connect, you're done.
I don't
It's
even
perfect.
watch TV much anymore. I'm actually watching. I started this series on Netflix last night. I don't remember what it's called. I could look it up real quick. I'm sure it's probably open still.
I did
Scavenger's Reign. It's like
Scavengers, right?
it's like an anime. I'm not an anime guy, but like it was sci-fi, so I was like, oh, I'll try it. I didn't have anything to watch last night. and it's like this crew of like people that are stuck on an alien planet, and it's kind of lame, but it's kind of cool also. Like they have this weird like alien that looks like a cross between a koala and a gray alien, and like
Okay.
it controls other animals through mind control.
My
It
imagination's
gets
like,
them to
how am I squaring this circle here
yeah,
with that?
and it like it gets other animals to scavenge food for it,
Uh,
and then it like finds a human, and then like all of a sudden it's just like, oh, go kill this animal, go kill that animal, and the thing goes from being like a koala
mm,
to like a panda.
okay, okay,
It just
kind
gets
of.
bigger and bigger and just starts eating everything.
Fuck, hell yeah. And you say it's okay.
It's
It's like
okay.
worth checking out, or
Yeah, it's okay if you
okay.
got Netflix.
Well, see, I have a couple sites where you don't need the membership, and
Yeah,
anything on Netflix, I got you, bud. I
yeah,
got you, bro.
yeah. I mean, that so there, yeah. If you've got the ability to watch it, it's okay. If you're looking for something to watch, it's
As a
okay.
libertarian, you of all people, I'm actually shocked, Nick. Do
I'm
not
not a
sail the
computer
high.
guy.
It's not even well. Like it
I
used to
don't know
be.
how to use computers. I never learned how to use computers. Like
Yeah, I feel you there.
it was hard for me to even figure out how to do a podcast.
No, I feel you. I
Like
feel you.
I've never been good with computers. Like I never learned how to use one as a kid. I kind of like got an iPhone, and like that's why I have all Apple products now, because I never learned how to use like a real
Yeah,
computer.
you're
Like I have a
ingrained.
laptop that I do the Zoom on,
Yeah,
and that's the only thing I use it for is Zoom for the podcast.
fair. Okay. I
I
mean,
don't
yeah,
even
I
touch it
do.
for anything else. Like I don't know. I just never. I've always hated computers. I didn't play video games growing up either.
Mm,
Like I
yeah,
got into them in my 20s for
you
a
are like
couple
an
years.
analog type soul
Yeah,
for sure.
I
Yeah.
rode dirt bikes growing up. I was out, riding BMX and racing dirt bikes and shit. Like I didn't watch TV. I
I
didn't
gotcha.
play video games. I never got on. I never had a computer until like I was probably 30
Mm,
or so. I think I bought one at one
hell yeah.
point and just never used it. And I needed one for college, I think. Like linemen call it. No, I didn't use. I used an iPad for that too. I don't know. Yeah,
You don't need it. Apple products are perfectly fine, and
yeah,
anything that I'm going to give you now will be seamless. So
perfect.
again, we'll get this done because there's
Perfect.
no need to waste even a
Good.
dollar.
I don't have to pay $30 to watch Project Hail Mary when it comes
Exactly. I
out.
got you. You can watch it right now. Yeah, the site
Oh,
I give you,
really?
you can watch it right
Excellent.
now.
Oh, that's
Absolutely. And if
sweet.
you have a big
And the
TV,
graphics and everything are all good.
if I'm going to give it a 1 to 10 scale, it's easily an 8.
Oh,
Easily an
perfect.
8. Like there's not any of that bullshit like bootleg stuff. The only thing I would say is obviously the better screen you have, the larger picture you have, that kind of a thing, your internet
Mhm.
speed. Like I'm adding variables to consider, but everybody I mean we're doing Zoom right now and your picture is beautiful on Zoom, so I know you
Yeah,
have everything that
I
is
got good
essential for
internet.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You have everything that's essential
dude, I
for it.
don't even turn my TV on anymore. I watch dirt bike racing on it once a week,
Hmm.
and like typically when I watch like a movie or a show, I watch it on my iPad in my hot tub.
Boom. If you can get it on your iPad, you can project it to your TV if it's a smart TV.
Yeah,
Because you just bought a new one, right? You just bought a new
I've
TV.
got a new. No, I've got an old TV,
Was it?
but it's a smart
I
TV.
thought
I've
you
got an.
broke it.
Oh, it's the Apple TV. I have an Apple TV. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Then it is smart enough that
yeah.
it'll connect to your device.
Yeah,
You
screen
can
mirror.
exactly. As long as you have that, which most
Perfect.
TVs since 20 fucking 15
It's
have, you're good.
dude, I fucked around with LimeWire when I was younger,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
like destroyed a computer. That was
I was
why
gonna say gave it
now that
cancer
I think
AIDS.
about it, yeah, I like, dude, I gave my fucking computer AIDS, and it like destroyed that computer, and I could never use it for anything again.
Yeah.
Couldn't even watch porn on it. Like
Cyber AIDS. Yeah.
it
I
was just
mean,
a fucking nightmare.
thank God my dad is a software engineer. That's what he did my entire life, and I had the exact same thing happen. It wasn't with LimeWire. I think it was Napster, and it was Pirate Bay. I think it was like it was in the infancy of all of
I
the
remember Pirate Bay.
all the like piracy thing. I mean, honestly, this is before fucking Google was a thing because we were still
Yeah,
doing Ask Jeeves and shit. So like it was barely 2000 and 2000 to 2002 at the latest. And he was so pissed. I just remember this as a funny like story for it is he was so pissed. He's like, "What did I tell you about blah blah blah?" And he just labeled off some like HTTPS, fucking website. And I was like, "Yeah, Dad, totally. I heard what you meant or heard you said, but everybody's downloading and they said it would work, and so I just did what they said, and he's like, oh, I fucking told you. And he of course like wiped it, reset, and we were able to use the computer again. Luckily he was smart enough and knew enough about computers to fix it, because I did the exact same thing to 2 computers growing up.
Oh,
Gave it AIDS, gave it cancer, and it fucking
yeah.
it was this close to smoking. I'm surprised it didn't. It was
Yeah,
funny.
dude. And I had so much fucking music that I lost
Yeah.
because of that shit. Like I
Yeah.
had a bunch of fucking music. Back
Again,
when I
that's
was younger, like it was hard to get like local Bay
yeah.
Area rappers on album because like only one record store sold it and like they didn't have all of it.
You had to
And
get their like
you know,
cassette
you
tape.
had to get there early to
Yeah.
get it
Yeah.
when it came out, and when they sold out, they didn't buy new ones. So like
Mhm.
one of my buddies like knew how to do this shit, so he had like everything. And if you were lucky, you could get him to burn you a CD from time to time. But most of the time, he
Yep.
would do it. I think he liked having a monopoly on the music.
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah,
Honestly, if you ever, there was a buddy did similar things with remember the jailbreaking of the iPods? Like he would
yeah, I
always do
used to
that
do
for
that.
people for that same
Sure. Yeah.
thing was music.
I did that on my first iPad or
Yeah.
my first iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah. I did it once without understanding it, broke it, and then I was like, fuck this, it's not worth it. And then I found all these different like workarounds within iOS itself, and I was like, oh, people have already solved this problem because there's no need to jailbreak anymore.
Yeah,
But it was funny. There was this one kid, he just had
I
like
don't think I even
7.
did anything with it when I jailbroke it. I just did like a
Same.
background or some
Same.
It was I
Same.
was just doing it to do it.
Everybody said this was the better way, so I was like, all right, I'll try it. And then I ended up like losing everything on it, and I was like, ah, fuck, my bad.
I
But
never even did social media as a kid. Like I remember I went to Southern California
wasn't
to ride
around.
dirt bikes at one point, and like everybody was using MySpace,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like you know, a buddy got me to like make a profile, and I like took it back home to Northern California, and I was like showing people, and they're like, "This is fucking stupid. Like, why do you
hmm
have this? Like, what kind of stupid shit is this?" And like a year later, everybody had it.
Yep, yep. You know, it's funny too about MySpace is I know we're going long, guys. We're in the twilight. We're
Yeah,
just
dude, I
chatting.
just looked up the time. I'm like, holy shit, we're going deep tonight.
We're chatting, man. I was looking forward to this.
Yeah.
It was as soon as my parents like were I didn't have I was saying like you didn't have a lot of social media to choose from when you were a kid. I did not have a whole lot to choose from, but by the time it became what it is, like it was definitely becoming social media as we know it today, I was probably like middle school, right? My parents were just very like acutely aware of like if we don't know or understand something, we're not going to give it to our kids without knowing, like they were very protective. And
Yeah.
I didn't like it at the time, but I really appreciate them for doing that now because
My
I
parents
got my
give
first
a fuck.
yeah.
No, they didn't give
Well,
a fuck what I did.
it's a good thing then there wasn't a whole lot of a whole lot of social media to choose from because I'm telling you, or like phones in general,
I
that
just
shit is a
wasn't into it.
poison.
I just didn't care. You
Good,
know?
good, good. But like, how many
Yeah.
people how many people cannot succumb to the temptation of that poison? It is like a fuck.
Most
It's
of the
like
people that I
vampires.
grew up with had nothing to do. They played sports, but like they
Yeah,
didn't have anything that they really cared about. Like I cared about riding dirt bikes. Like it was a lifestyle to me, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like that was my life. Where like other people, they were into partying and it was like, I'm gonna play sports to get chicks and like
Yeah,
guys
I saw a lot of that too. Yeah, for
still
sure.
talking about high school football today, you
hmm
know,
I know
when
the type.
there's
I know the type.
nothing to talk about. Like you guys all sucked.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. Case in point is I got MySpace. I was either just about to go into high school, so I was between like 14 and 15. I don't know what. Yeah, 14 is freshman year, 15 I think freshman. Whatever time that it was like 13, 14 time frame. Got a MySpace while we were at like a state like track meet, and somebody bought their laptop, and they're like, no, we're gonna get you a fucking MySpace or whatever. So
Mhm.
we did it, we created it. I was like, oh, and then I was kind of like hooked for like 24 hours. Like, I see why people are into. You do the background, you do the lights and the music, and you
Yeah.
friend this person, you look at that person's pictures, yada yada. And so
Remember
I
you
got
had like your top friends, and it was always, why don't you have me as your top
See,
friend?
I didn't even have long enough to get that. Where I was just like, I got the small like heroin hit. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I do like that. And literally that same week, Facebook either came out or took over, where everybody got off MySpace and it died. So I had this account, and everybody was migrating to Facebook, and it was one of those like just moments of clarity of like, this is always going to be the trend. Like it's always like I'm one behind. This is like they're going to jump to the next greatest thing. And the only utility this has is that you have that like connection to people. And I realized in that very moment, I was like, I don't give a fuck about that. So
Yeah.
I didn't get Facebook. Like
Yeah.
anything that I ended up getting ended up either serving a means to an end, or was like one of those things where people force you to do it. So like when I was overseas, it was Facebook Messenger. And so I
Mhm.
got a Facebook account so that I could have the messenger, so that I could have the free communication. Never used it, never cared. And because
Yeah, I don't use it
I
anymore.
never used a messenger like at all anymore since then. Don't have that. Like it just it's one of those things. Unless I'm actually a means to it. And like Instagram, I was telling people the other day, they keep sending
I
me
haven't
shit, and
checked my Instagram.
it's I don't even know how long it's been. It might have been like this last year that I've been here,
Yeah.
maybe
I don't
longer.
even check it.
Yeah. And
I
so I
don't
was
even
telling
check.
people, I was like,
I
sorry
don't
if
check
I,
my I don't check my X either. Like I'll go on it
yeah,
to look at stuff, but I don't ever look at like the bell
yeah.
or anything
That's
like
like the
that.
number one thing that I'm using, and it's because I use it and it's connected so like well for the podcast right now. That's
Yeah.
like where my utility of it comes from. I get news, I get updates, I get what's going on, and I have all of that only like I only desire those things solely for
Yeah.
the podcast, and then I use them
Yeah.
for the podcast, and I put my podcast out, and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. It's literally the only thing. So
You know,
I tell people, sorry, I'd let Instagram die, guys. I
yeah.
might go back in there and give you like my latest tattoos and stuff that I've been like taking pictures of, but outside of that, it's not a platform for me. It changed into TikTok, and I never gave a fuck about that, and I'm not
Yeah.
about that.
One
Sorry.
of the most, like liberating things for me as a kid, probably like, I don't know, like 15 or so when this happened. But like to me, like dirt bike racing was the coolest thing in the world. Like it was to me, like it was the baddest thing. And like nobody that I went to school with cared really. And I
Yeah.
would like sometimes I would like try to tell people about it and they just kind of wouldn't care. And then like one of my friends like had a bike and he sucked. And he was good at bragging, and like talking shit. So he'd go to school and talk about how great he was. I really thought he was better than me. Oh, this guy's kicking your ass. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I raced 3 classes above him. Like, he's not even in my league. He like
Yeah.
plays T-ball and I play for the fucking
Yeah.
AAA.
Yeah.
Like, we're not even close. You know what I mean?
100%.
And then like some people that a couple chicks that I went to school with like came and watched a race one time, like 40 minutes from the house. And like he was there and I was there. We were in completely different classes. Like I won my class. He got like fucking last in his. I don't even know. He sucked, like I said. And like they were just miserable the whole time they were there. It was hot, it was dusty. And like by the
Yeah.
end of the day, they couldn't even tell that like we were in different classes.
Yeah. Yeah. They
You
were
know
there
what I
for one
mean?
reason and
Like
one
they
reason
had
alone. Yeah.
they're just watching people on a track. And I remember thinking, oh, nobody fucking cares.
Mhm.
Like nobody cares. And no matter what I tell these, how cool I say it is to people, they're just never going to care. No matter what I say, no matter what I do, it's never going to like make me popular at school. So just like enjoy
Just do it for
what
the
you
love.
do
Yeah.
and let them fuck themselves, you know?
100%.
And
100%.
at that point on, like I never cared to talk about it at school. I didn't really go to parties all that often. I would when I was in town if there was a rain race or if there was no race for the weekend. But for the most time, like I was gone and like I had my friends at the track too. And like
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like after that week, I was like, oh, like these people don't fucking give a shit. Like
Yeah.
there's just no fucks given. They were miserable. There's
Yep.
no way this is ever going to be cool to these people, no matter how good you are.
Exactly. I mean, like you said, very liberating. I was
Yeah.
15, 14, whatever I was. It was like one of that, luckily, liberating things where I didn't have to chase the fucking keep up with the Joneses or like,
Yeah.
yeah, give a fuck. Not that I ever cared, but you are influenced by your peers, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That any possible hope of influence kind of melted away. It is, like you said, very
Yeah.
liberating feeling or
I
realization.
remember when I was a senior, so there was a big race on the same weekend that like our prom was on. It was like a national race. It was in Sacramento. Like they do it once a year, and it's a really big race.
I know which one I'm picking.
And yeah, my junior year, I'm like, fuck prom and go fucking prom. And my senior year, I like asked this chick to go that I liked, and she said yeah. And then like a month later, she kind of like got back together with her boyfriend or something like that. And she kind of came to me and she was like, hey, I kind of like got together with my boyfriend. I'm like, sure, go. I don't care. I get to go to the race now. Like I don't care whatsoever.
The
Like
threshold
it
of
is what it
fucks I
is.
give
Like
you.
obviously I don't have a shot, so like whatever. Just
Yeah.
go with your boyfriend. I don't fucking care.
That's
Like, it's
yeah.
fine.
And back to the like, isn't it awesome when like you have the like conclusion, the ironic conclusion when you get to like see those people retrospectively or like after the fact.
Yeah.
I bet that's not even one that crosses like her fucking horizon still. Like she doesn't even understand. Not to disparage her, but bet it never crossed her fucking horizon because of how shallow, vapid,
Yeah.
fucking insecure, whatever you want to say. Again, not to disparage anybody, but there are those instances where you're just like, yeah, and I bet it doesn't like you understand, and thank God you fucking understood at the time too, because like it's not even registering to her. It's really not. So, and it's so stupid what we give a fuck about, Like
Yeah.
when you look back on it, you're like, why the fuck did I care? Like
Oh,
there was
dude,
no
there's so
reason.
many things that like I look back in high school and be like, well, I fucked that up really
Yeah.
bad.
But again, more and more
Wanted to
lately.
date this chick because she was popular, but then meanwhile, there's this other chick that
Oh,
like
you had the
I
dizzy
could have
to,
easily
yeah,
had,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
like looking back
You had
on it, like, what was
the
I thinking?
right, the Starship Troopers, right?
Yeah.
I forget the
Yeah,
main chick's name.
exactly.
You
You're
had the
right.
Dizzy who
That's
was,
exactly what it was.
yep,
Yep.
yep, yep. I
Yep.
see more and more. I'm like, I notice similar things, and I'm like, thank God. Now I'm like, it worked out the way it worked out for a reason, and I'm actually
Yeah.
like able to reflect on those reasons. I'm like, thank God, like I'm glad I fucked that up, kind of a thing. And it is, I have less of that like issue where I'm like, God, I was so stupid for doing that. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
have less regret about it. I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
like,
Even with like my ex-wife, I look back and go, what the fuck was I thinking? You know, like
yeah.
I had a clear out in this
Mm,
situation and I didn't take it. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? But some good did come out of it. Like when I got hurt, I didn't think there was any way I could buy a house. Like I don't have a
mm,
job, but she
yeah.
was like determined that we could get a house. So she like kind of spearheaded the operation and I bought the house with my money and
Uh-huh.
like I got the loan and paid for the house and ended up getting the house in the divorce. So like some good did come of it.
There you go. That's yeah. That again. I'm more and more in my maturity. I've been realizing like yeah, it all like you kind of one reason or another can reflect whether that's an attitude thing or whatever. But kind of fucking worked out for me. Kind of
Yeah.
works out in the end, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Most
Yeah.
guys don't come out ahead in the divorce, but I did. And a lot of it goes
Right.
to her credit. She knew that she fucked up the marriage. So
Oh yeah.
like she kind of like went easy on me, you know?
Well,
So we ended up
fucking
like I got the house and all the debt.
Rob.
And
Well,
then she got a car. That was
bless
it.
her for that. That she
Yeah.
was mature, like wasn't
She could have
vindictive,
taken me to
bitch.
the cleaners
Yeah,
for it.
like
And part of it was like she couldn't afford a lawyer and my mom's a paralegal, so she offered to do our divorce for free. And
mm, okay.
the
Hey,
scale's gonna be weighted in one direction on
that
that
works
for
out.
her.
Yeah, that kind of works out. That kind of works out, dude. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I guess if I always say yeah, like let's end a little more hopefully. Again,
Yeah.
I try to
Fuck,
stop
my drink
being.
is watered down like a motherfucker now.
Yeah, I have just enough, right? I have
My
just enough.
ice cube is completely melted because the sun's just been beaming on me this entire time. I
Yeah, I
forgot to
see
put
it. You
down
always
my
have that.
I forgot to put down my shades. Like I have a window with shades and then there's a window on top of it with no shades.
Hmm.
Like I
Like
need to
I've
put
always noticed it, but
it
it's
here.
never like it's never a bad thing. Honestly, it kind of makes me jealous because I'm like in a windowless fucking
Yeah.
studio. Like
Yeah,
I,
it's not
I
bad.
like the,
Right
but
now it
like
kind of sucks because it's like 75 in here, so I'm sweating a little bit,
mine
but
does heat up. Yeah,
could be
yeah.
better.
But
I'm not running my AC yet. I'm trying to just, run the windows open with fans for the next couple weeks if
my
I can.
brain would shut down, bro. I get too hot too fast. I run my shit nonstop. But
Dude, I gained like 60 pounds in the last year,
yeah,
and my heat tolerance is a lot lower now.
weird. Yeah.
Thankfully.
I've never had like I've always been like a skinny dude. Like I've never
Oh, me
had the
too.
tolerance because I always lived in cold places. So anytime I was stuck in a hot place, it just for whatever reason was worse, subjectively worse for me.
Dude, I
And my
rode
wife
dirt bikes
complains
at
about it.
110 degrees in the summertime, and you're like full gear, boots, helmet. And so like I got used to running, 30-minute motos in 110 degrees. So it's like
Bro,
80 degrees is nothing for
I
me.
could not. I couldn't. I mean, when I was in football and you're all, you have all the pads and
Yeah.
everything, I was
Oh, football's nothing compared to
sweating.
dirt bikes.
What I'm saying I'm sweating and I'm in
Yeah.
a fucking cold 50, 60-degree climate. I could not
Yeah.
even fucking imagine. And
Yeah.
that's during summertime, like
Yeah.
70s at the highest. And you're telling me you're doing it at 100 degree
Oh,
in fucking dirt
110.
bike gear?
110.
Get the fuck out of
we
here.
were running motos in Sacramento in the middle of the summer, 110 degrees. We used to go to this race in Washington. It was like right outside of Portland, Oregon. And dude, like I remember the first year that I went there, everybody like it's complaining about how hot it is. Like, oh my God, this is like the hottest race we've had in years. And like even the announcers are complaining how hot it is and everybody's
Got a
sweating
heat
and dying.
wave to
It was 82 degrees. And I'm like, dude, this is like fucking springtime for me. Like, I love this. I've been running 30-minute motos in Sacramento for the past 6 months. Like, this is great. I love this. And like, we just dominated up there when it would get into the 80s because they just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, they weren't cut for it. Yeah,
yeah, no,
because that would have been me. I was not built for that shit.
Their fans on the sidelines watching were in worse shape than Californians riding.
That's fucking crazy.
They were dying while we're out there on the track. Like, this is great.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, I've given myself heat stroke in Sacramento multiple times, just running too long.
Yeah, I believe that.
Degrees. Like, dude, I've raced there before where it was like 118 degrees.
Thinking about it, literally, as you're describing, I'm sitting here thinking, like, my body's overheating, thinking about overheating. Like, it's like, get me away from these thoughts, let alone the actual temperature, you know?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not as great as I used to be, but like, dude, when I was a kid, like even when I was living in Southern California, it'd be 100 degrees and we're just running motos constantly, you know? And like, I could be out in like 85, 90 degrees working.
Do what you love, kind of a thing.
Even when I went to line school, dude, I went to line school in Northern California. It was like 120 degrees and we're climbing poles all day.
Yeah. Do what you love, never work. Don't matter, you know? Yeah. I feel you.
All right, we should probably get out of here.
So I'm saying I got this much left, so you know it's always bad to.
I'm right there with you.
Cheers on an empty glass. So for us, it's cheers, pro, salute, gambe,
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
BB's got cancer. L'chaim.
Hello, guys. It's conversation for the sake of conversation. Don't kill the messenger.
All right, we're done. My fucking Roadcaster ran out of storage like a half an hour ago. I thought I had enough to get by, and then we do 2.5 hours.
And then we did 2.5 hours. Do you want me to send you the file? Because I have.
No, it'll be fine on Zoom's not bad. Like it's a little bit better on my Roadcaster, but Zoom's not bad. So I'll just do the last part of it with Zoom audio. It'll be fine.
All right.